Hello and welcome to Anti-Marino Stadium here at Monroeville High School. Should be a good one tonight. Another 5A Big East Conference matchup. Vince Russo, Spencer Witt here on the call on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Thank you all so much for joining us as the Gators look to rebound after being upset by the Franklin Regional, while Plum continues to try and keep this early upstart season going. 3-1 for both teams, but a very different 3-1, Spencer.
Yeah, definitely, especially for Plum. We've talked about it in pregame, how they really haven't played high competition, or at least competition that is expected of Plum, and they aren't getting the victories that they need. But it's a match like tonight for Plum and the Mustangs that I think will be huge for them. But on the other side, for Gateway, they played these tough teams. Losing to Franklin Regional, I think they're going to need to win against Plum to really set the tone.
Let's talk a little bit about, we're almost at mid-season, which is hard to believe. We're getting into conference play, and only 8 teams make the postseason this year, down from 12 last season. You have your top 2 teams in the 3 conferences, so that's 6 teams, and then 2 at-larges. How important is it for Gateway to right the ship here and avoid falling to 0-2 in conference play?
Well, you said it before, 2 teams making conference play. There's no guarantees, especially with a tight conference like we see. Hempfield has been a really good team. Penn Trafford has been good this year. It's a tough conference for Gateway, and if they drop another match or another game against a team like Plum, who's kind of sitting right in the middle of that conference, it's going to be tough to try and get back on top.
The teams last year that finished in the top 2 in all 3 sections were 5-0 or 4-1. So that sort of exemplifies what little wiggle room the Gators have after dropping their opener. Now tonight, Spencer, we talked a little bit before the game, a big story for this one. The run defense for the Gators, which got gashed last week, gave up 268 yards versus a Plum Mustangs team that really likes to run the ball.
Yeah, and it was two players for Franklin Regional that ran all over Gateway, and we've got a running back of Eric Moore for Plum, who's rushed over 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons. If he runs like Bazuska did last week, for Franklin Regional, Gateway's going to have a lot of tough times because they're going to be on the field, that defense, for a while, and that defense is going to get tired real fast.
The other big story, will Brad Birch play tonight? What sort of shape will he be in? We saw that he was battling through an injury. Chris Livesey played several series in the first half at quarterback before the Gators went into desperation mode. Birch down on the sidelines with pads and helmet on, throwing the ball. He's giving a thumbs up, actually, we see right now. I would expect to see him start. Plum won the coin toss. They have elected to receive the kickoff here. And so the Mustangs will get the ball to start. Darian Nelson, one of the return men, deep for the Plum Mustangs, along with number 1, Eric Moore. And so the 6'2" senior running back, 350 yards from scrimmage here early in the season. And both him and Nick Odom carry the load. Nick Odom went for 200 yards on 9 carries and 3 touchdowns against Kiski area. He'll be someone that they'll want to get involved. Has averaged almost 10 yards a carry. We talked about Moore, who has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He has 6 touchdowns in 4 games. It'll be Cole Plaskin kicking us off here and getting us started. A little bit windy here. Sun should be setting at about 15-20 minutes, but still some sunshine for now. The kick is off. It will land at about the 15-yard line. Moore juggles it. He'll take it now up over the 25 to 30. Gets around one man and then meets a resistance force of about 4 Gators there. And we will get started here. The Gators in the black uniforms, gold numbers, gray pants as we take a look at the replay. Black helmets, Gators on the side, and the Mustangs in the all whites with purple numerals, purple helmets with that Plum script across it. And so we are underway here. Gators defense gets the first crack at making a stand here.
The upper gate is around the side of the building.
For the Mustangs, it'll be Sean Franzi, the junior quarterback, 5'11", 170 pounds, and he'll hand it off to Moore here. Moore hits the hole hard, gets a nice initial burst before he's wrapped up around the 40-yard line. And so that'll be a good gain there of about 6 on first down.
Yeah, good hard running for Moore. No hesitation, just hitting that hole immediately. Good couple yards and a good start for Plum in the running game.
Couple players got tangled up. Blocking out on the outside. Kenny Lewis getting dragged down. Receiver is aggressive blocking there. Snap is off. They'll give it to Moore once again. He's able to find another hole. He's up over the 40, up towards the 43-yard line. That's right around that line to gain. Looks like they're going to give the Mustangs a first down.
And you see Moore cutting to the left, and just sheathing one tackle and just getting the first down.
First down.
See a good run start again for Plum. I mean, they're going to keep running the ball. They definitely watched tape last week. They might have watched our broadcast on YouTube of the past week and just had seen Gateway struggle with the run and keep running until it doesn't work.
As we talked about, Gators gave up 268 yards. Both Sarnik and Bazuska, the quarterback and running back duo, with over 100 yards on the ground. Bazuska with the lone touchdown proved to be the difference. 16-7 the score last week. This pass from Franzi well over the mark. That one sails over everyone, so no harm, no foul there on the attempted screen pass. It'll be 2nd and 10.
That's a dangerous pass for Franzi. On a screen pass, you can't throw it in front of the guy. You have to either throw it at him or behind him in effect that DB doesn't just pick it off immediately, because that's a dangerous throw there for Plum.
So incomplete, no gain there. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Franzi in the gun once again with Moore to his left. 4 receivers set, trips to the right. They'll hand it off. Moore gets an initial burst there, but the hole closes quickly, so he'll gain about 2, and the Gators force a 3rd and long here from Plum's 45-yard line.
Lucian and Brooks.
Gators fell to 5th in the rankings. They were the top team coming in at 5A. After their loss last week, they're now behind Penn Trafford, Penn Hills, Upper St. Clair, and Bethel Park, respectively, in the Tribs rankings. For the Post-Gazette, they fell out of the top 5 altogether. So a Gateway team with an early unsettling loss, trying to rebound here, see if they can get the defense off the field. They cannot. A completion there. This one's going to go for big yardage. Shedding tackles all the way and getting inside the 40-yard line. A grab and a run there by Darian Nelson. They needed 8. They got about 10 more than that. That's a nice gain there, and it sets up the Plum Mustangs in Gators territory.
Beautiful play calling for Plum. The slot receiver, they're playing zone. A little bit more of a cushion behind them, not letting the deep ball, so they're going to take that first down on the slant route. Plum, that's a really, really well-designed and well-executed play on 3rd down.
So the drive continues. Mustangs now at the 37-yard line of the Gators, controlling that line of scrimmage. They'll hand it off here. It's Odom. No, it's Franzi the other way. He keeps it, fooled everyone, including us. Gets down inside the 15-yard line, and a flag came late. Looks like it might have been a holding call against the receiver, Zach Napierkowski.
Yeah, you take another look at it, as you see the fake and the run, and yeah, that's going to be a hold right there. That's the hold right there. You see the shoulder pad coming off the DB for Gateway. Just too much, just holding on to him just a little bit too long. They're going to call it every single time.
So that will negate certainly some of the yardage gain there. It's from the spot of the foul, so that was well down the field. So it's still going to be a gain for the Mustangs, but it's going to negate about the final 10 yards of that run there. Napierkowski held on to Inez Jordan there. And so that will still be a first down. It'll move the ball about 10 yards precisely. Goes from the 37 to the 27. So still a first down on the keeper there by Franzi, who's proven to be adept at running the ball himself. We'll see if he keeps it or hands it off here or decides to throw downfield. He'll hand it to Moore. Moore, another big hole. He gets inside the 25 down to about the 22-yard line. And again, Spencer, 5-6 yards on first down. The Mustangs are picking up right where the Panthers left off last week.
The legs are moving for the Mustangs. Really good blocking up front for the line for the Mustangs. We have a player down for Plum.
Injury timeout.
One of the linemen, 65 for the Mustangs. Austin Mitchell, who was slow to get up. I think someone might have landed on him a little bit awkwardly, but trainer's checking him out, making sure he's all right.
Pointing to his left leg. Hopefully Mitchell just shaken up and able to continue in this one, but those linemen always in danger, getting rolled up on. We saw a scary injury last week with a wide receiver, defensive back for Franklin Regional, breaking his leg mid-game. And so that will pause play here, and so far the Gators on their heels a little bit. Plum is driven down to the 22-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5 when we restart in Spencer. once again, Gators having a hard time getting off the field, giving up another 3rd and long. We saw a couple of those last week against Franklin Regional, and again, just unable to gain traction at the line of scrimmage and shut down those running lanes. Take a look at the Big 5 Big East Conference standings. 2 teams that I don't think a lot of people projected to be at the top of the leaderboard, at least this early in the season, but Franklin Regional and Plum taking down Gateway and Norwin respectively. Penn Trafford and Hempfield, they play tonight. That's a score we will keep you updated on, and one that I'm sure a lot of Gator fans are super interested in to see. Hempfield, are they for real? They've played a soft schedule themselves. They've put up an average of about 48 points thus far per game. Penn Trafford coming off of a state title. They've lost a lot, but they still have Colin Green at quarterback. They're certainly still a team that a lot of people think can contend in 5A. We'll have some other scores for you throughout the night. Franklin Regional is taking on Shaler. Norwin takes on Woodland Hills. And then one of note, Peters Township and Upper St. Clair, 2 undefeated teams in the Allegheny Conference in 5A. We'll try and keep tabs on all those scores. Play action, a delayed handoff here to Moore. The spin move, he's down inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's brought down. The last man with a chance to get him was number 10, Ricariel, and he saves the touchdown there, but a nice run and a nice spin move by Moore.
Oh, Leonard Sherrod taking another look. Want to make sure that his shoes are tied there as he got spun out of his shoes. Beautiful run from Moore, and Plum knocking on the door. They're going with an up-tempo offense here real quick.
And as Jordan also in on the stop there, I formation, they'll hand it to the fullback. They'll drive towards the pylon, or towards the goal line rather. No signal yet. And they will signal touchdown. And so Eric Moore finishes it off. He lined up at fullback that time, and Moore really a one-man wrecking crew on that drive. They faked a handoff to Odom. Franzi did keep it once for himself to get the first down. But Moore going to work and taking the Gators to task. It's 6-0 with a chance to make it 7.
And this is scary for Gateway, and the only reason why, no disrespect to Franklin Regional, but the Panthers really ran like 3 plays, I think, for last weekend. But Plum, they've had a nice passing from Franzi. They've had the fullback. They've had the fakes. They've had I formation. If they keep doing this and making it difficult for Gateway with several plays, it's going to be a dangerous one and a long night for the Gators unless things change quickly.
So the PAT up and good. And so 7-0. Plum springs out to an early lead as they kept it on the ground for much of that drive outside of a 3rd down pass conversion. Now the Gators with a chance to respond. They'll get the kick return team out, and Brad Birch and company will try and improve on a performance last week where they had just 1 touchdown. And a theme we've seen much of this season: score early in the game, and the offense sort of retreats back within itself. We don't see a whole lot of results. The Gators would be hoping to at least get some of that early game magic once again here to try and tie this one up.
I think for Gateway especially, just having the Gators being ran down the field on defense, as long as their offense, they don't have to score, not necessarily in this first quarter, but gets a couple first downs. Keep the offense on the field for a little longer. Give that defense a little bit of a break after a long first drive.
That is something we saw. The Gators had a hard time keeping that offense on the field for long stretches of time and really put a lot of emphasis on that defense to try and hold Franklin Regional to 3 field goals, which they did. Now some open running room. It's Kenny Lewis. Lewis over the 30, able to make some men miss, up over the 40. No flags on the field, so the Gators will have excellent field position. Good blocking there, even better vision by Kenny Lewis, and the Gators with great field position to start this drive.
And incredible vision from Lewis. You take a look at your screen, big hole in the middle on the right side of your screen right there. So he goes to it, it collapses, then he bounces outside. He's able to get himself outside towards the sidelines and pick up those extra couple of yards for the Gators.
Nice stiff arm on the would-be tackler Noah Odom there. And so a sight that Gators fans happy to see. Brad Birch starting this contest after not starting last week. Came in relief of Chris Livesey. They'll hand it to Jaquan Reynolds. Reynolds with a nice little burst there. He's able to get up towards midfield. He'll get stopped at about the 48-yard line.
Stopped by Thomas.
And so that'll be a gain of about 4 or 5 after the initially rolled the kick return down at the 43. Four receivers set, they'll fake the handoff, go to a screen quickly. Nice move there, Malachi Moore able to spin away. He moves forward past the first down marker. He'll get to the 45-yard line, and quick couple successive plays get the Gators enough yards to keep that offense on the field with a first down.
I know it's only a screen pass, but it's nice to see Birch be very accurate with his throws. We saw a lot of missed throws last week, even though we talked about the injury, talked about the fact that he did not start. Even though it's a quick screen pass, it's good to just see him accurate and being able to throw the ball with a little zip in that one to get it quickly over there.
Birch was just 8 of 22 last week. Uncharacteristically inaccurate. A good first throw there. He's going to test it by going deep. He has a man. It's Inez Jordan, and he's into the end zone. 45 yards, and nothing off the mark with that, Spencer. He put that right in the breadbasket, and Jordan created the separation and finished the job by getting into the end zone for 6. A 3-play drive for the Gators.
I should have waited one more play to talk about his accuracy and the fact that he's able to get the ball out there deep past the DBs for Plum. Beautiful route from Jordan, and Birch fired up, and rightfully so after last week. They have come out here with a statement proving that they still deserve to be in the top 5 in the WPIALs, and it's plays like that. If you can beat Plum with plays like that, it's going to be a good night.
Low snap. That'll be collected by Livesey. Kick up and good by Plaskin. And so we're tied up. No defense here to start. Both offenses clicking. Plum doing it on the ground. The Gators deciding to air it out. Take another look at that 45-yard connection from Brad Birch to Inez Jordan. We're all tied up here at Anti-Marino Stadium.
And Jordan ran his route well. It was one-on-one coverage, got past the DB that he had on him. No help over the top. Perfectly executed play, and give Brad Birch a lot of credit, dropping that ball perfectly to Jordan, a dime for the touchdown.
Birch, certainly injuries, different things aside, he had a very strong first game against Mount Lebanon, but on the season just 59 of 108 coming into this one, 527 yards. 4 touchdowns versus 6 interceptions. Does have 18 carries for 98 yards and a couple scores, but just not looking like himself. And on that drive there, capturing why he has turned a lot of heads and is regarded as one of the better quarterbacks here in the WPIAL. So now Plaskin will tee this one up. They'll kick off from the 40-yard line. Plaskin able to get this one a little deeper than the last. It will trail off toward the end zone, and that will be a touchback. And so Plum will elect to let that one dribble into the end zone, so they'll start at their own 20-yard line here. And once again, this Gators defense without Baron Vowler in the middle for the foreseeable future. Going to have to find a way to anchor this defense and get a stop.
And how important Valor is in the middle when you got running teams or teams that are just running right over you in the middle as well. You're seeing Moore really hit the hole pretty well for Plum.
Saw a good crowd on hand for this one. Fun fact, ticket revenue for the WPIAL up across all sports, 93% last year, showing an eagerness to get back in the stands after COVID restrictions. We've certainly seen good crowds in the Gators games this season. Last week at Franklin Regional, what seemed like a sold-out crowd as Moore takes that one once again, and a nominal gain. Looks like he'll get about 2 yards there on first down.
Second down, 8.
So 2 early scores in this one. Both offenses clicking on all cylinders, and albeit different fashions. Plum, a long methodical drive on the ground. 3-play drive from the Gators in the air, and it once again looked like the quarterback was going to keep it there, hands it off. That's the first carry on the day that we'll see from number 36, Nick Odom. Odom, as we said, had a 200-yard game against Kiski area earlier this season, but he goes backwards in a hurry on this one.
And it's the first loss, and look at the screen there. You saw Gateway had stacked the box, a lot of guys in there in the front for the Gators, and now I think if you're Plum, well, clearly a 3rd and 12, more likely than not going to start throwing it, but you kind of want to spread this defense out for Gateway to try and get that run game back, because that run on second down wasn't going to work.
Trips to the left. Franzi in the gun once again. Gators going to look to try and force a 3 and out here. This one thrown across the middle. They had a man open there as the Gators were again playing sort of a soft zone there. Harper was the closest, still about 5-10 yards away, as that one going towards Darian Nelson was just a little off the mark.
Yeah, soft zone, as you see the DBs, they were playing literally right at the first down marker for Gateway, and it's a quick slant, just not on the same page. And 4th and 12, deep in their own zone here for Plum. They're going to have to punt it away.
So the Gators catch a break there on the incompletion, the poor pass. Now it'll be on to punt. The Plum Mustangs looked like a little movement there early, but they'll let that one go. So that one punted away by number 6, Sean Franzi, the quarterback. Not terribly often you see that, but he got a good boot on that one. But nonetheless, the Gators going to have great field position to start here. Ball at the 44-yard line, just 1 yard different than their last drive. And Spencer, I don't know, will it take a little more than 3 plays?
You hope so, or you hope not. I mean, for Gateway, I should say. But you have to think that Plum is kind of going to try and settle in on defense. But Birch looked really, really good and going to keep Plum on their toes, especially for their defense, who was just out there only a little bit ago.
Now the Gators really shifted the tide there after struggling to get off of the field the first time. Get the 3 and out after giving up the long touchdown drive with Moore and Franzi toting the ball. Now they'll go back to work. Jaquan Reynolds gets it. He's able to make a few miss, take a big hit there up high from Moore. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and so a play that looked like a surefire loss, Reynolds able to dance around and at least get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the fact that Reynolds was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, like you said, was impressive there. It was number 50 for Plum for the Mustangs, Darren Slaughter, who got to him first but just couldn't wrap him down in the backfield, and give Reynolds a lot of credit. Shedded a couple of tacklers and got back to the line of scrimmage, and we're back to 2nd and 10 now.
Hempfield up 7-0 early on Penn Trafford. Score of notice. We said we'll try and bring you some of those throughout the evening as we head into conference play. Jaquan Reynolds again getting the carry, unable to get away. Looked like he was going to have a little green there in front of him, but Dom Byer, the junior linebacker, you'll see him take the good angle, bring down Reynolds from behind.
That's a good play from Byer. They had a counter for Gateway, pulling the tackle, but just not able to block 2 of them at once, and the guy that we didn't block was able to converge on Reynolds immediately and take him down.
So 3rd and medium here. They'll go to the air. Timing route, and lucky that one wasn't picked. I'm surprised Birch threw that one because that one was read all the way. Great coverage by Jerome Brazel. The 5'11 corner is He'll take another look. He had the inside step on that, read that timing route perfectly.
And he knew exactly where the first down marker was, so he basically just stopped and waited for it. It looks like Gateway going to go for it here on 4th and 6.
Well, once again, I wouldn't be surprised to see the pooch punt. We've seen that, although that was blocked last week. I'll see if Birch drifts back in the shotgun a little bit. That might indicate, that might be the tell that he's going to punt this one away. The play clock winding down to 6. They're going to have to make a decision here pretty quick. It looked like Plum jumped for a second, as it looks like they're just going to let this one run down. And this might be one of those instances where the Gators are fine taking the 5-yard penalty, giving a little more space for Plaskin to maybe punt this one away.
It's designed. You saw the last two plays. It was number 3 for Plum, Jack Tongle, who had actually got into the line for them and was kind of jumping the snap. So I think what Gateway wanted to do there was wanted to see if they could get Plum to draw them off sides, and they'll take the penalty and kind of give the punter a little bit more room to work with if they do punt this away.
Well, they moved a little bit there, but there was no call. And even still, it's 4th and 6, so that would have made it 4th and 1, but you would have been in enemy territory, maybe a little more inclined to go for it. And so rather, that would have given them the first down, as it's 4th and 6 now. It's 4th and 1 before, unless they haven't marched off the yardage just yet. So all that being said, timeout called on the field.
Yeah, timeout was the reason. They did not actually have to take a delay of game. It was a timeout from Gateway.
Spencer on top of it there. And so a high snap there. Plaskin gonna take it himself. A fake, he's still going. He'll get to midfield and he'll get stopped there. And Spencer, a little impressed by Plaskin there. Had some wheels on him, but to snap it all the way back there, normally with a fake, you snap it sort of right to the up man who takes it around. An interesting design there on the fake, but Gators about 5 yards short on that one.
Well, I wonder how much of it was design and how much of it was the high snap, kind of giving not enough time for Plaskins. Wasn't sure if he was able to get that off in time or deciding to not take the risk of being blocked and just try and run for it.
So now it's the Mustangs with great field position and a chance to go back in front. They'll start right at midfield. Low snap. Franzi going to try and set up the screen. He does. But net right there. And hacking at the ball is Demetrius Harper. And so they'll blow that dead. Forward progress will make that a gain of about 3. And so it looked like there was going to be a lot of green there, but you'll see Demetrius Harper right there, number 11, going to blow this one up.
And Harper recognizing the play, immediately seeing the lineman move forward, and then he gets to finding the running back and a handful of Gators trying to take him down there.
Harper, you saw trying to punch that ball loose.
Looking like a TJ Watt out there, throwing some haymakers on the pigskin.
So it'll be 2nd and 7. And a broken play here. Franzi going to keep it himself. That's going to gain about a yard. No, they'll end up probably about back at the line of scrimmage there. And so the broken play forces Plum into a 3rd and long situation here as you take another look at the miscommunication on the RPO.
Yeah, and you see Franzi immediately looking to the bench for the next play, wondering what went wrong between him and Moore in the backfield for the Mustangs. I should say Nick Odom was actually in the backfield for that last play, my apologies. But as well, again, still a broken play for the Mustangs. Another 3rd downs, even another slant route again for Mustangs. They've done that twice now on 3rd downs.
See if they go towards that trips formation to the right. They will. Franzi going to get pressured, and oh my goodness, getting taken down. The delayed blitz. Ahmad Harris, the junior linebacker, came in and laid the wood. Oh, mama, that's a bad man. And that's a sack that's going to force a 4th down.
Take another look. He sees the hole. The center does not get there in time. Harris just absolutely getting there just with a snap of his fingers. Impressive that he was able to converge on the quarterback, and Plum will have to punt.
2nd straight 3 and out for the Mustangs. As Franzi stands at about his 35. They'll boot this one away. Livesey picks it up, bobbles it. He'll get back on it. Dangerous. That ball was bouncing quite a bit. He'll fall on it right around the 10-yard line. And so the Gators, for the first time tonight, will have quite a bit of ways to go on offense.
And he talked about it. Very dangerous play in the punting scheme for Livesey as he trying to read it a little bit and then try and catch it. He's figuring out where he wants to go first, I think, on that one, trying to get it off of the bounce, and instead it's off his fingertips and has to dive on it, but he's lucky that he was able to get that one. We saw a play like that earlier, I believe, last week, having issues on the punting formation, although it was a pooch punt, of course. But still, issues in the special teams for Gateway, but Livesey's able to clean it up.
So the Gators will have quite a ways to go as they start back out for their 3rd offensive possession. The first one ended with 6. 3-play drive, a 45-yard passing touchdown to Inez Jordan. The last one, a 3 and out. Now able to get a receiver open in space. That's Dallas Harper with his first grab of the night, or rather, I believe that might have been Leonard Sherrod. It was Sherrod, the touchdown scorer last week for the Gators, the 6'2 senior wide receiver. Able to create a little space there, a couple yards after the catch, and a 1st down.
It's a nice play for Gateway, recognizing the blitz. It's man-to-man coverage up top, and able to just get around that one defender for the extra yardage.
They'll go quick again with another quick out there. The screen gets swallowed up this time, though, and Malachi Moore, who had a productive reception on that first drive that resulted in a 1st down, will get stopped a yard behind the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 11. Seven our score here. 2nd down They'll set up another quick pass. This one to Dallas Harper. Harper with a little bit of room. One man to beat. He's able to get past him. Now it's a foot race inside the 30, inside the 20, inside the 10, and he is gone. 75 yards, the second long touchdown pass. And Spencer, this is the offense that Gators fans anticipated coming into this season as Harper goes all the way for 6 points.
What a run by Dallas Harper. It's a screen play again, which Gateway has done back-to-back-to-back screens. This time they're able to break it free, and you take another look. Plum actually read it pretty well. You see the linebackers and DB get there, but some really good blocking. 54 for Gateway. Give him credit. Lewis Douglas was there for the block. Harper gets around the one man. He's able to beat number 12, TJ Fratellis, and he scores for the Gators. Just like that, Gateway has taken the lead, and this is the offense, like you said, Vince, that Gateway fans have been looking for a while, at least the past couple of weeks.
So Plaskin puts the exclamation point on another exciting and short drive for the Gators. Their 2 touchdown drives, less than 7 plays in total. As take another look, the bubble screen set up to perfection, and Harper, just see him take on that second level of speed. The nice move there, and as we saw, Louis Douglas, yes, laying that block, taking 2 guys out of the equation. And then from there, Harper just able to keep his balance after the shoestring tackle attempts. Puts another 6 on the board. Longest scoring touchdown of the season for the Gators thus far. And with 23.5 seconds left in quarter number 1, Plaskin will boot this one away with the Gators for the first time tonight out in front. Plaskin able to get a good bit on this one once again inside the 10-yard line, be taking it around the 6-yard line. Nice return here up over the 25-yard line. It'll be Jerome Brazel, the 5'11 receiver, the junior. He'll set up the Mustangs at about the 28-yard line.
By Dyson Harper and 44 Mitchell.
And so the Mustangs
First down, 4 Plum.
started the night with a long drive, picked up right where Franklin Regional left off, ran the ball right down Gateway's throat, but since then the Gators have risen up and 2 straight 3-and-outs, and they've really made Plum look pedestrian offensively.
I think if you're Plum, you got to start running to the outsides. They've collapsed the box, Gateway haven't. They've done a good job stopping them inside. Start kicking these ones out a little more, try and open up the space a little bit.
See what they do here. 4 receivers set, spread it out, now they'll hand it off. A good initial burst there, making a few would-be tacklers miss is Moore. So Eric Moore, we've noted, has had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, has the pedigree as the ball carrier. He gets about 3 there on the first down as we head to the end of the first quarter. Zeros on the clock, and a productive first quarter. We saw quite a bit of offense in that 12 minutes as the Gators fell behind early 7-0, but then 2 long passing touchdowns, one for 45 yards to Anez Jordan, another 75-yarder as we just saw moments ago to Dallas Harper, and it is 14-7, Gators on top. And Spencer, a completely different looking offense here tonight, and as the temperatures cooled off a little bit, this offense is heated up. We might not see some cramping tonight as it's a beautiful night. 55 degrees, you see the wind at 5 miles an hour. The sun is just about set. Can't see it anymore. Well, it is set, but it's not completely dark yet, but we are under the lights here at Anti-Marino Stadium. Spencer, what have you seen from this offense thus far different from last week?
Well, they're getting the ball in the air. I think for Gateway, they're definitely able, even though it's these screen passes and these halfback screens, but you saw the deep route, the touchdown for Anez Jordan as well. But the fact that Birch is able to throw the ball and throw the ball with control is a really good sign for Gateway, and it's going to be tough for Plum, who I think was kind of anticipating it was more of a run game and having Birch struggle. If he's not struggling, Mustangs are going to have a lot of troubles as well, and they're going to have to start their offense in the air as well with their quarterback, Sean Franzi.
Franzi in the gun, ball at the 31-yard line after a 3-yard run to end the first quarter on first down. So it's 2nd and 7, and they'll go to the air. Matthew Brooks able to knife in. He's able to bring down Franzi, kind of swung him around like a rag doll for a second there. And Brooks, the Division I FCS recruit going to Duquesne, able to get in there and wreak some havoc.
Yeah, Brooks untouched going into the backfield, and Franzi tried to step up, but Brooks stayed with him, held on to him, and threw him down.
So something we also didn't see last week, Spencer, some pressure on the quarterback. A couple sacks here early. You have that one from Brooks, and then the big hit from Ahmad Harris on the last drive. And for 3 straight drives, we don't know how this one's going to end, but a 3rd and long situation. They'll hand it off here, the draw play, and look out. Another 3rd and long conversion for the Mustangs as Moore got a full head of steam. And now Leonard Sherrod down on the field, writhing in pain as he was involved on that tackle. Take another look.
It's a really good play call from Plum. You're expecting a pass, and it's Moore who just breaks free. He's got that burst of speed. We've seen it. Once he gets by that line, he's able to get that extra yardage to get the first down. A huge first down for the Mustangs.
So Sherrod up and moving on his own, able to get off the field. He'll check out for at least a play. We'll see if we see him return, as he is a difference maker for the Gators. And so now 1st down and 10. Plum moving the ball a little bit again here on the ground. They'll have it at the 42-yard line. See if they keep it here on the ground. Man in motion. Moore will get the call once again. Finds an initial hole and will drag a few bodies, including Matthew Brooks, up over the 45 to the 46. And so a very tough 4 yards there for Moore.
You get those first downs, or first down plays for Plum. They're getting those couple of yards. It's the second downs that I think are a big issue for the Mustangs, especially on the ground. Gateway is really able to swallow things right before the Plum Mustangs can do anything to get. You're not seeing 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, it's 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 15s for the Mustangs.
It'll be 2nd and 6 here, and they'll hand it off to Moore once again, who's swallowed up before he can really get his feet moving. And stop me if you've heard this before, but Matthew Brooks starting to really have himself a night. He's making himself a known presence on every play. Well, the timeout here is once again we have a player down. Looks like a lineman for the Plum Mustangs, number 72. That is Devin Curler, the 6'3", 275-pound junior offensive lineman, and hopefully Curler not in too dire of straits. We'll see if he's able to return to this one while we have a minute. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, scores of note for Gators fans. Penn Trafford has come back to tie the game up here with 11-12 in the second quarter to 7-7 between the Warriors and the Spartans, in a game that many folks will have their eyes on as things start to shuffle and shake within conference standings and conference action. And then Peters Township hitting a 22-yard field goal. They lead Upper St. Clair 3-0. Upper St. Clair will be without their quarterback, Julian Dalem, tonight. He's not playing, he's sick. So Ethan Hellman, the freshman, in for Upper St. Clair. And then no score yet between Norwin and Woodland Hills. That one still 0-0 at the end of one. We'll take a look at the 5A rankings, and the Gators went from the top to the bottom in a hurry there after that loss to Franklin Regional. Bethel Park poking in. They've looked strong thus far this season. Led Central Catholic for much of a game. Gave a lot of, even beat in overtime Mount Lebanon. So they strong 3-1 start. Upper St. Clair, like we said, they in Peters Township 4-0 to start the season. Penn Hills looking strong once again after upsetting the Gators in the playoffs last season. And then Penn Trafford, currently number 1, well-deserved after the state title last year. Certainly graduated a lot. They lost Cade Yacamelli, who has moved on to Wisconsin. But as we said, they still have Colin Green, the talented quarterback, who is dual threat. As you see, Curler needing a lot of assistance to get off the field there, and see some of his teammates coming over to help. And Curler, the junior, anytime you lose a guy who's 6'3", 275 on the line, that's going to be an issue. The Mustangs, who've been moving the ball on this drive, now Spencer, are going to have to do it without one of their top linemen. And if you're the Gators, they're probably going to try to exploit that.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a big hit for Plum, especially when you've got their running back Moore, who has been running really well against Gateway. But, you know, hopefully if you're Plum, you think to yourself, the next guy steps up. That's what the big teams, that's what the difference is in the teams like this that want to beat Gateway. You want to beat the big teams, Penn Trafford. You want to beat these top teams. The next player has to step up, and that's what Plum is hopefully going to have here. But they'll have the ball third down and 6. Again, that second down really didn't do much on it. They're back to 3rd and 6 again.
The Gators have the opportunity to try to get off the field here. Get the ball back as we're about 2 minutes into this second quarter. Sean Franzi in the gun. Motion man across. It's Caden Thomas. They'll go to the air. Now knifing in once again is Harris, and he'll bring him down. Harris making a name for himself tonight. He has been quiet thus far this season, but 2 big sacks here in the early going on this one, and now the punt team will have to come out for the Mustangs.
You see 55 again for Plum, just not letting Harris stay at the line. Harris gets right by him, and really nothing Franzi can do as he was waiting for his receivers to get downfield and get open. But another sack and another punt for the Mustangs.
Snap is good. Franzi will kick this one away. A beautiful punt. And Livesey takes that one and is hit immediately. Must not have seen that right in his vicinity was Regis Burris, the 5'5" freshman. So he wraps up Livesey and brings him to the turf. And the Gators will start around their own 25-yard line. We'll see where they spot it.
I was about to say, a really good punt from Franzi. He made Livesey step 15, 20 yards backwards. That was an impressive job to flip the field by the quarterback, who had taken the sack just moments ago and was able to flip the field for Gateway, who has a lot of time but a lot of distance to go.
And you didn't see it there on the replay, but that was a beautiful kick too. I mean, it stayed in the air.
Yeah, the hang time was a long hang time as well. Impressive punt for the quarterback. He's not listed on the punt as a punter here, but no reason why he's not punting.
They'll go back to the air. Quick out. That one bobbled and caught up over the 30-yard line, fighting and won't go down. And that is a rare reception from Derek Selby, the 5'8" sophomore, taking advantage of getting some action under the varsity lights, and he's able to gain enough for a first down there. And he looked tough. All 5'8", 155 pounds of him, he would not go down, and he'll stay in here as the Gators will go up tempo on first down and 10. They'll pull it out of the breadbasket. Now they'll get it to Malachi Moore. Moore able to make a couple miss, but nothing really going there, and he'll likely lose a yard there on first down.
Yeah, that play just didn't develop into anything good. You saw Birch trying to roll to his right, and he's got Moore with him, but man coverage, the DBs close in pretty fast before Moore could get around anybody.
So 2nd and 11 now for the Gators, after the productive pass to Selby for the first down and a 1-yard loss on the quick screen to Malachi Moore. They'll go with a screen once again. This time, a little more going, but not that much. A gain of about 3 yards to Inez Jordan. As Jordan tried to cut that one back inside, found no real estate there. Good job following by the Mustangs. It'll be 3rd and long.
So we've had a curl route, a little shuffle pass, and a screen route. Now, do you think Birch wants to air it out a little bit longer, just like we saw the touchdown to Inez Jordan earlier here on 3rd down?
See if they take a shot here. 3rd and 8 from the 35-yard line. 3-man rush. They'll let this one go. Downfield again, a man wide open. This is Leonard Sherrod, and he's gone. Another long touchdown, 65 yards, coast to coast like butter on toast. It's 20-7, Gateway on top.
What did we just talk about, Vince? Several plays short. So Plum's DBs are playing up. They're playing for the first down. And Sherrod just gets by his defender. No over-the-top help coverage. And it's a one-man race. And it's one-on-one. Perfect pass from Birch, who has looked fantastic so far this evening. And Plum, Gateway, another touchdown.
Birch, 3 first-half touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. The PAT up and good. 3 for 3 from Cole Plaskin. And don't look now, folks, but this Gateway Gators offense is cooking. 3 touchdowns of at least 45 yards. You had the 45-yarder from Birch to Inez Jordan, then the 75-yarder from Birch to Dallas Harper. And now Birch finding Leonard Sherrod in stride. And Spencer, if you're the safeties for Plum, first rule of playing safety is no man behind you. And that's the second time tonight that the Mustangs have let the Gators just get behind them, get separation. And so 2 long touchdown passes. Right smack dab in the middle of that was Harper. He was able to take that bubble screen and turn on the Jets, and the Gators. Now you see that confidence, the body language. Guys playing loose down there. Gators looking like the team a lot of folks thought they'd be coming into this season.
Yeah, it's a mismatch, unfortunately, for Plum, but fortunately for Gateway, it's just these go routes, deep balls for the Gators, and the DBs just aren't able to keep up with the likes of Inez Jordan and Dallas Harper, and Gateway is taking advantage. They have that defense close and playing for the first down after several short passes, and they just air it out long and catch Plum a little bit cheating.
This one taken again inside the 10-yard line with a full head of steam, getting up over the 20 and then getting walloped is the return man, number 10, Noah Odom. And so Odom will get the Mustangs to about the 22-yard line. Will they'll go to work with about 7:18 left here in the first half. Again, looking at our out-of-town scoreboard, Woodland Hills has struck first. They're up 6-0 over Norwin with about 5 minutes left in the half there. Upper St. Clair driving with 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line to try and take their first lead against Peters Township. And a direct snap to the end zone. Penn Trafford has taken a 14-7 lead on Hempfield, who started out with the first score. And another score of note that I saw retweeted, West Allegheny strikes first against Aliquippa, up 6-0. Score is 21-7 here, a handoff. That one going again nowhere. The Gators really starting to control the line of scrimmage. And Spencer, I know it's early. We're still in the first half of this one. But you got to think this Plum Mustangs team, if they get behind by too much, their MO is running the ball. They're going to struggle to try and get back into this one if they have too much separation from the Gators as we get close to halftime.
Yeah, things need to change. They can't just get lucky with a more breakout for a touchdown or something like that. They've got to really spread the field and make Gateway work on defense. But right now, Gators just stacking the box. The line is just not able to hold them up in time, and they're able to only get a couple of yards here and there.
Just 1 yard there on first down for Moore. They'll call his number once again. He's been a workhorse tonight, and he might have gotten another, but it looks like he stood up at the line of scrimmage, and Matthew Brooks right there flexing once again. He is a man to be reckoned with tonight.
Matthew Brooks has had a game. Another look at he gets by the right guard. First one on him as well. A huge game for Brooks, who, again, after last week with Franklin Regional running all over them, this is what you really want to see from that defense.
So we approach the halfway point of quarter number 2 here in half number 1. And it is another 3rd and long for the Mustangs. They've converted on a few of these. See if they have another one. As they'll likely go to the air here. Franzi in the gun. Snap is just a little low. He'll get this one out quickly. Timing route off the mark as he went for Nelson once again. But Darian Nelson unable to get his head around by the time the ball was past him.
This is frustrating for Plum. It's just run plays that aren't working, and then on 3rd down, this is another one, just miscommunication. The receiver and Franzi not on the same path, not on the same route, or Franzi just missing his targets, one or the other, but regardless, it's really been tough in this second quarter for the Mustangs.
So another quick 3 and out, and the Mustangs will give the ball right back to the red-hot Gators offense. Livesey with his feet at about the 47-yard line. This punt not nearly as good. He'll take it inside opponent's territory, makes one man miss, gets a block around the sidelines, and he's out inside the 40-yard line. There's a flag that comes in late. I'm not sure what exactly happened. There was a big block there. I don't believe it was a crackback block. We'll take another look.
It's Kenny Lewis, bottom of your screen there, who is with the gunner, and you see Livesey comes back. Kenny kind of lost his man for a second and just floors the player for Plum. I believe that was Jack Tongle. but I think they did call a foul on it. I think that is going to be, saw the referee, yeah, I believe there's going to be a foul on that one. So the ball will be brought back to the 48-yard line for Gateway on their own side of the field.
And you can tell me, Spence, thoughts on the call there?
Well, I didn't see the call exactly. We missed it. I'm assuming that's what it was that crackback block and lowering the shoulder. I thought it looked clean. It was a huge block, but you can make the argument both ways, especially in high school football. Just kind of a situation. What matters is that he made the block. Yeah, it's a penalty, but they're only moving a couple yards back.
Timeout called by the Gators, a miscommunication there. So they'll have to burn one here with 5:35 left in the first half. The Gators will start this drive at their own 48-yard line after Chris Livesey was able to return it down inside the 40-yard line of the Plum Mustangs. But the penalty against the Gators will pull this one back just a little bit. Penn Trafford has taken a 17-7 lead over Hempfield, so the early success for the Spartans short-lived, and they face adversity for the first time this season against a talented Penn Trafford squad. And for Gators fans, that is certainly a score of note. Penn Trafford, Gateway always seem to be the teams that are in the conversation for Big East titles, and Hempfield, their upstart, they're down from 6A, 4-0 on the season. They've scored a ton of points, but just as with this Plum Mustangs team, Spencer, they really haven't played a tough schedule, and the Gators will go to face them on the road next week. So first down and 10. This drive will start right around midfield for the Gators. See if they can replicate the success they've had here in the first half. As it's going to be a double pass, and they'll have a man wide open. And this one is gone. Jordan able to pass this one perfectly on the mark, and as Jordan dials it up for Dallas Harper, and the Gators just getting silly with this now.
What a play call from Gateway. Head coach Don Hall, I mean, beautifully perfected. Watch, it's what looks like another screen. Everybody for Plum is moving up, everybody, but the receiver for Gateway wide open, no one within 10 yards of him. And again, when you have 5, 6 screen passes for the Gators, those DBs for Plum, they're expecting to go up there and take the man right at the line of scrimmage, but instead it's a backwards pass, and I knew that was coming too. You could kind of see it in your eyes, especially the fact that it was backwards. Man downfield and for a touchdown for Gateway.
PAT up and good. Blaskin continues to be perfect on the season, and the Gators 28 unanswered points. We thought we had ourselves a ball game after Plum took it to the Gators, drove it down the field, drove it down the heart of that defense, but Matthew Brooks and company have come up big. They forced 3 and out after 3 and out, and the Gators have cashed in time and time again. Birch with 3 passing touchdowns. Then Inez Jordan said, hey, I think I can do that too. And that was a really nice ball from Jordan there to Harper.
It was a very good pass for Jordan as well, who again didn't have much pressure on the wide receiver, didn't have as much pressure getting that one off too. Well executed. The DBs couldn't get there in time to give him any issues as well. So again, beautifully executed. This is an offense for Gateway that you really like to see. They're really mixing things up, making Plum really stay on their toes. And once they are able to commit to something, Gateway goes the opposite way, and they're burning the Mustangs really well.
Plaskin will send this one off again. It'll be taken at about the 9-yard line. Now a little bit of running room trying to get to the edge. Brought down. A nice tackle there in open space by Amari Gans as he is able to stand up Brazell, the return man.
33, Gans and Lewis.
And the Gators, through 4 games thus far this season, Spencer, 4 passing touchdowns. Tonight, 4 passing touchdowns in 1 half. What took them 4 games to do has taken them just 2 quarters tonight here against the Mustangs.
Yeah, well played on offense. This is the offense that we needed to see for Gateway as you taking a look at the schedule for the Gators.
This is by far their most productive offensive output, as the Gators have been averaging just about 17 points a game. They've limited opponents to about 9.8 on the other side, but the defense last week not enough against Franklin Regional. Nice first down run there against Moore. He gets about 8 yards before he's tossed out of bounds. You see the Gators certainly needed a half like this and certainly a long way to go, but they've got some tough tests the rest of the way, Spencer. You talk about going to Hempfield next week, having Penn Trafford after that. You've got non-conference matchups against McKeesport that looks like a world beater in 4A, and then you've got 6A perennial power Central Catholic.
Yeah, this is, I think, the game for Gateway right now. When you have that tough schedule, you need to fix things, and you need to fix it here.
Well, so far, so good. They'll stand up the Mustangs here on second down. As Moore with the carry once again. He might be slow to get up here. And he is up under his own accord. We haven't seen much of their second ball carrier, Nick Odom. Thought we might see him get a few more touches. Odom has had himself quite a season. Had 3 touchdowns in that game against Kiski earlier this season. After having just 4 touchdowns all of last season, he has 5 total scores on the season. But other than a spot carry here or there, or using him as a decoy, we have not really seen Odom in this one. Nonetheless, it's 1st and 10 at about the 44-yard line. They'll hand it off here, and oh my goodness, Demetrius Harper and company closing that one up in a hurry. Louis Douglas also in on the stop, and that's a loss of 3 on 1st down.
And you see Gateway just all over that run play. And, you know, when you have that ability to play action, you kind of, if you're the quarterback for Plum, Franzi, you would hope to see 1 or 2 plays where he airs it out. Get Gateway in the box, make them think you're going to more, and then you have maybe a more one-on-one coverage with the receivers just to try and open the field up a little bit.
So it'll be 2nd and 13 after that loss. They'll go to the air. A big hit there on the quarterback, and that's going to force that ball to go long. And Ricariel laying the boom. Dallas Harper in there with pressure as well, and Franzi feeling it, getting up after that one. As Ricariel had a free lane there to take a shot at the quarterback. Take another look.
Yeah, it's the defense at Gateway again. I mean, Franzi has really not had much time to work with in the backfield, which is good for the Gators as they're giving Gateway a lot of pressure on offense. You know, I talked about trying to air it out, but if you're not able to air it out because you've got 2 guys in your backfield at all time, it's a lot tougher, and it's not going to be easy for Plum if they want to get themselves back into this. And that offensive line, I think, really needs to step up, unfortunately, for Plum to try and hold off these guys rushing through.
Matt Horvatic was a turnstile on that play as Ricariel just went right past him. The Mustangs, who take a timeout here, lost Devin Curler earlier in this one, and certainly are feeling the impact of losing a 6'3", 275-pound lineman and trying to fill that literal gap that he has left. And things have gone sour for the Mustangs in a hurry. But for the Gators, as you talked about, Spencer, a get-right game. A team in Plum that 3-8 last year in 4A. They come up here and have played well in 5A thus far, but certainly are not a team that's on a lot of folks' radars to really make a run, and the Gators have reestablished some identity here with the passing game.
Yeah, they definitely have, and again, we talked about it last week, how Birch had a lot of issues passing. They had to bring in Livesey for a little bit, playing as a quarterback. Things didn't work out that way in the air, so it's good to see Birch coming back, and a healthy Birch is a dangerous Birch for Gateway. And this game really is proving it, at least so far, halfway through it, about halfway through for the Gators.
Woodland Hills with a 12-0 lead now over the Norwin Knights, another 5A Big East team. The Norwin Knights don't have any score thus far for Franklin Regional and Shaler. We'll try and track that down during halftime, as we are rapidly approaching that with 3:47 on the clock. And after the timeout, it's 3rd and 13. High snap, they'll give it to Moore, and Moore will get a few yards there, but Matthew Brooks stops him in his tracks after a gain of about 2. And so it'll be 4th and 11, and once again, the punt team comes out, and the Gators have a chance to put a few more points on the board before the bell tolls for halftime.
Yeah, and for 3rd and 13, I mean, you're saying your Hail Marys are just giving it to Moore instead of throwing the ball a little bit farther downfield for almost a Hail Mary. Right now, Plum, it's just not working on offense.
So Chris Livesey stands at his own 40-yard line. Gators should end up with good field position. He had a nice return the last time before a penalty negated some of it. He's going to take a fair catch here. And it looked like he might have been interfered with a little bit, and the flag does come out on the far side, and so that should be a penalty against the Mustangs. Livesey clearly put the arm up for a fair catch, and you'll look here, gets impeded with a little bit at the end of this one.
Hey, taking a look, you see Livesey. There it is right there, the hands coming up. And a little bit of contact. It's just a little bit, but it's enough to knock the ball out, enough to make some movement. You can't do that. That's just straight up for Plum, unfortunately for them. You can't touch him, especially if he's going for the fair catch.
Interference against Plum.
And so that is the call. And so the Gators will benefit from that. The fair catch was at around the 35-yard line.
That's even better field position now for Gateway as they're going to cross midfield, just at midfield. They got 3 minutes remaining here in the half. They have been airing it out well. You could see another touchdown here. They could see them hitting 30-plus points for the first half for Gateway.
So the Gators, as you said, Spencer, just past midfield. They'll start at the 49 of the Plum Mustangs, and they'll hand it off here. Reynolds able to make a few men miss. A nice cut, and he'll get towards the first down marker. 8-yard gain there to the 42-yard line. Reynolds with a couple nice carries early in this one, and the Gators certainly have the luxury of taking a little bit of time here. You don't want to give the ball back to the Mustangs, and so you can use the ground game here when you start at midfield. The Gators will go up-tempo here. And Birch smartly pulls that one out, but he's still going to get wrapped up for a loss. He'll lose about 1 yard there as the ball carrier. Still looked like the right decision, Spencer. I don't know that Reynolds was getting anywhere with that one, but good job all around by the Mustangs.
Oh, yeah, by far. You see 3 and 4 both in the backfield for the Mustangs, and then Birch finally being brought down. And good job for Plum crashing the box there, getting behind the offensive line. And if the run game starts working for Gateway, then that opens up the passing game. So if you take at least one of those out for Plum, you're able to kind of stall them just a little bit, just enough to try and get your defense back.
It's Caden Thomas and Jack Tongle in the backfield on that one. Reynolds, though, able to get past everyone on this one. Enough for a first down. Needed just a few, and they got close to 10 yards as that one's inside the 35, marked down at the 34-yard line. As we're under 2 minutes left here in the first half. Take another look.
Another run for Gateway, and again, they're moving forward with it. They're just controlling on offense right now, and Plum really can't do much about it.
It's been all Gators here. 28-7 our score. Brad Birch back to pass. He's going to roll out, pressured, has a lot of green in front of him, but he's going to send this one to the back of the end zone, has a man, and it's nearly intercepted. Darian Nelson. Gators had a receiver wide open in the back of the end zone. Looked like that might have even been Reynolds. As we'll take another look. Needed a little more zip on that one. Gave enough time for Nelson to get over towards that one.
I was about to say, first pressure we see in the backfield from Plum as Birch is able to roll out. Had a little bit of room to work with, but again, that one just kind of too much air on it. That's not even the intended defender for Plum who was over there. He wasn't even on him. He actually just moved over and almost picked that one off.
Malachi Moore was the intended receiver there. 3, not 2. So no harm, no foul. Second down and 10 from the 34-yard line. They'll fake the keeper, throw it across the middle, and that one, I believe, is intercepted as they were going for Reynolds. Reynolds didn't get his head around. Birch sailed that one a little bit, and so Birch makes his first mistake of the evening after 3 first-half touchdowns, turns this one over, and the Mustangs will have the ball at around the 20-yard line with $1:16 left to go.
And much-needed gauze to put on the bleeding for Plum. The question is it enough to wrap it up and get themselves back out there and look decent on offense? That's the big question. But the fact that they were able to stop them here late in the first half is a plus sign for Plum. But again, this offense has got to get going.
Brad Birch's 7th interception on the season. We'll give the ball back to the Mustangs here. As we said, 1:16. They've got quite a ways to go. 2 timeouts left. They'll continue to ground and pound for just a couple yards there. Again, Eric Moore on the carry.
Unfortunately for Plum, I mean, again, this is the problem. You kind of are forced to go with the run due to the fact that the passing really isn't working because a lot of pressure in the backfield from Gateway. So now you're working with Moore and you're making Moore basically carry, put the team on his back for lack of a better term right now on offense. And again, the clock continues to wind down under a minute in this half, and looks like Plum will just kind of run things out.
Another run there. Another quick stop by the Gators. Louis Douglas, Matthew Brooks, among others. Donovan Biggs, the junior DB, getting in there on the stop.
Brooks, timeout, Gators.
The Gators will now take a timeout, saying if you're just going to waste time here, we might try and get this ball back. With 34 seconds left, the Gators with their second timeout of the first half. It'll be third down. If they can get a stop here, might call another timeout and give themselves a chance offensively to put a few more points on the board and get closer towards the mercy rule.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I mean, you really just hold Plum to a run for a couple of yards and they're out of the first half with not moving the ball. That's the big thing right now for Plum, is they're not moving the ball. And if Gateway does get the ball back, you have, what, 10 seconds about, maybe about 5 if they punt it away. You know, bad snap, something like that has an issue. Next thing you know, Gateway might have the ball in good field position. But I do like the call, taking the timeouts, even though Plum looks like they're kind of waving the white flag without putting it on the flagpole.
Gators going to force Plum to try and do something here on third down to avoid giving the ball back to the Gators. Not a lot of time left, though. 34.2 seconds left on the clock. Franzi in the gun. Put a man in motion. We have a flag and a procedural penalty against Plum, so that'll push them back 5 yards further. Now they might have to change the play call here. As third and long goes to third and even longer. Call it 12 officially.
And now if you have to go on fourth down, have to punt it, your punter is even closer to that end zone. So really bad decision right there and a tough call for Plum. They're just kind of backtracking even more.
So we'll try again here, third and 12. Mustangs in the gun, man in motion. They'll fake the jet sweep. Now it'll be a counter the other way, and now look at this with a big hole up over the 40-yard line. That's more. A great run there, gets him out towards midfield, and that'll be enough for a first down. And now the Mustangs, with 27 seconds left, might be starting to think about airing this out and getting some points.
Yeah, huge run for Moore as he not necessarily flipped the field, but gave the Mustangs the ability to maybe get some points here at the end of this half instead of just kind of running and taking a knee and folding at the end of the first half. And now you got 26 seconds. Couple timeouts for Plum as well. They've got 2 timeouts, so if you get a nice run here, a nice breakaway, you might be able to take a timeout and air it into the end zone.
4 receivers set, 2 on each side. They'll fake the handoff to Odom. They'll take a deep shot here. A little bit of separation and going up, trying to get that one. But nice coverage there by Kenny Lewis, who was able to break that one up.
Second down.
So no harm, no foul there. The Gators, a good job, Lewis, getting his head around the intended receiver there, Zach Napierkowski.
Yeah, Lewis one-on-one with Napierkowski and tried to moss him. Napierkowski did, tried to jump up and get there, but Lewis was right there with him, stayed with him the whole time, turned his head at the exact time he needed to. Good defense from Gateway.
Napierkowski, 6'1", 180 pounds. Against Kenny Lewis, who gave up about 6 inches or 5-6 inches at 5'7", 150 pounds. So good play there by Lewis as we'll get another stoppage here. Timeout by the Mustangs. That's their second of the half. They want to talk things over here on second down and 10 from the 44-yard line. Want to remind everyone to stick around at halftime. We'll have the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show, as those fine folks will talk about different storylines across the WPIAL and what's been a great season thus far with perennial powerhouses, some great surprises, and things starting to shape up as we head into the conference slate for a lot of teams. Take a look as well, some upcoming broadcasts. September 26th next week, we'll have girls soccer. Gators then later in the week will take to the road football-wise, Gateway and Hempfield. Penn Trafford after that. Spencer, which games will you be calling?
I'll be on the call 26th, I believe, Plum at Gateway, so we'll see the Mustangs and the Gators on this exact same field, except it will be girls soccer instead of the football teams.
So second down and 10, we spring back into action. 21 seconds left here before halftime. Fake the handoff once again, pressure coming. They try and set up the screen, and that one is too high, looking for more there. So that'll bring up 3rd and 10 with 16 seconds left. Not only will we have the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show, we will also have the Gateway Gators marching band performance, so make sure to stick around for that. And we'll be back with half number 2 after this one. Mustangs trying to get back into this one, make it a 2-score game before halftime. They got their work cut out for them here on 3rd and 10. With 16 seconds left. Franzi's pressured, looking for somewhere to go, and he's going to get stood up by a ton of Gators there, about 4 different guys in there. WPIAL in on the stop. Ahmad Harris, Matthew Brooks, Louis Douglas. And that will end our first half of play. The Gators punctuate a nearly perfect first half with a big sack there, and Spencer, we saw Plum get that first knockout blow, but then from there on out, it was Gators the rest of the way in that first half.
Yeah, great job, especially from the Gators defense. Plum just kind of kept running the ball in the first drive for them. Gateway was able to calm collective, and they were able to stop the run, and they were able to stop the pass. You saw, I think that last play was pretty symbolic of what happened. Nowhere for the running or for the quarterback, Franzi, to really go with that or to throw it. He's had a lot of pressure in the backfield, so he can't throw well. And once you stop the run and the pass, then good defense for the Gators.
Second half, what do the Gators need to do to sort of keep the pedal to the metal?
I think you just got to keep pressure on Franzi. I think you can't let him get comfortable back there, even if he gets a couple of plays going, because if he gets the passing going and then you open up the run for Moore, who has had some flashes of running, that's going to be problems for the Gators.
Well, that'll do it for our first half of coverage. As we said, we'll step aside. We'll play the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show, and then we'll have the Gateway Gators marching band. You're tuned into Gateway Gators football here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your halftime score 28-7. Gators on top of the Mustangs. We'll be back with the second half here in just a little bit.
Please welcome to the field the Gateway High School Marching Band. Tonight, the high school marching band is joined by the 7th and 8th grade band from Onside Middle School, as well as the 5th through 8th grade color guard. Tonight the band will be performing the following songs: Cheer Number 1, Cheer Number 2, and everyone's favorite, Cheer Number 3. The Middle by Zed, and they will finish off with the Gateway Fight Song.
Getting ready now for half number 2 here of Gateway Gators football on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Thank you all so much for joining Spencer Witt and myself, Vince Russo, and our crew led by Lee Schaefer tonight. Big first half for the Gators, Spencer. 4 passing touchdowns, 3 from Birch, 1 from Inez Jordan. 28-7 our score. And we'll break that scoring down for you very quickly. It was Moore with a 2-yard touchdown run, PAT up and good. That made it 7-0 for Plum, but from there, 3 touchdown passes from Birch to Jordan for 45 yards, to Harper for 75 yards, to Sherrod for 65 yards, and then Inez Jordan going to Harper for 52 yards. All PATs up and good from Blaskin. 28-7 our score at halftime.
Yeah, these aren't just slant routes for 5-yard passes. These are long bombs for both Birch and Inez Jordan even getting into the mix as well. So really good to see for Gateway that the fact that their offense, the passing, is working today. It was non-existent last week, so it's good to see for Gateway this week.
Well, it sounds like our official put his mic on for the first time tonight. We got to hear him down there. Hopefully we'll have that here in the second half as we were able to make out most of the calls. And on that note, the Gators did a pretty good job keeping their noses clean. A lot of penalties against Plum there in that first half. And certainly there was the block that negated the long return by Chris Livesey, but a pretty clean half procedurally and penalty-wise from the Gators.
Yeah, and I know that peel back block is technically a penalty, but it's really been the momentum and kind of the symbolic of the night. I mean, Plum has just been frustrated. They get absolutely crushed by that block, and they're getting crushed right now on the offensive side as Gateway's just everywhere on defense for the Gators.
Plum won the toss to start the game. They got the ball first in our first half of play, so the Gators will have it here to start in quarter number 3, and so they have a chance to add on to that 21-point lead and keep the pedal to the metal. As it is Kenny Lewis and Inez Jordan back for the Gators. Kicking off for the Plum Mustangs, looks like it is number 89, Angelo Baleno, the 5'10" sophomore kicker. And this one will go end over end inside the 10-yard line, taken at the 4 by Lewis. He has a full head of steam and an avenue to run through. He'll get up over the 30-yard line. He's still going. There's a flag on the field, but he's got the corner. One man to beat. Gets past number 26, but not before getting pushed out of bounds by Dom Bayer. And a penalty marker back at about the 35-yard line. And Spencer, you'd have to think this one's probably coming back.
Probably. I saw a lot of bodies in that area where the flag was thrown. You have to think, 9 times out of 10, it's either a block in the back or a hold, especially on a long run like that. So we'll see what the call is. And yeah, it's going against Gateway.
So that will negate a return past midfield. Second time tonight we've seen a penalty on special teams. And Gator mascot, he can't figure it out. Maybe he's got to tune in. We'll key him in. Nice crowd here on hand tonight, as there has been for much of the season. WPIAL reported a $2 million profit last season. It's really good after seeing everyone be safe and try to take care of one another after a few tough years with COVID, to get back into the stands, be able to enjoy high school football and high school sports in general. Birch will go to the air here to start this drive. He's going to pull it down and run it himself. Nice avenue there as he cuts it back. He'll get 10 yards, a little bit more. A flag comes in late. Spencer, I'm not sure if that was a face mask, a horse collar, or heck, maybe both.
I think it was. Yeah, you saw the ref all the way down the field was the one who called it. We'll take another look. That was number 3 for Plum, Jack Tongle. It looked like, I think you're right, I think he got both. Maybe he got part of the face mask too, but mainly the horse collar.
I definitely saw the horse collar.
There's face mask. So face mask on Jack Tongle is going to be the call. And again, another penalty for Plum.
That really felt like a sort of choose your own adventure, like you really could have called either or there. They'll go with the face mask call, so that'll add insult to injury for the Mustangs and for the Gateway Gators. After having the long return negated after one big run from Birch and the penalty, they're back in Plum territory at the 49-yard line. They'll hand it off to Reynolds here. Makes a nice initial move. They'll get down to about the 46-yard line. Make that a gain of about 2 yards on first down.
Another run again for Jordan as you see him cut to his left. Plum players are there, but again, when you establish the run game for Gateway, you're bringing those DBs, 5 and 6 for Plum, Nelson, and Franzi. They have to move up. You can air it deep.
So after the 2-yard scamper by Jaquan Reynolds, they'll fake it to him. The pressure here, and Birch just going to go down. First sack of the night against the Gators as Birch had nothing going on that one, and a team of Mustangs blew that play up.
And a much-needed sack for Plum. Only the second time tonight we've seen any pressure on Birch. As you take another look, he just spun away from one defender, but 4 other guys were there. Much needed for Plum, who have pushed them back into Gateway territory.
So that'll bring up about 3rd and 15. It'll push them back out of Plum territory to their own 47-yard line, and you'll look for Birch to air this one out here. 3 receivers to his right, Selby to his left, Reynolds in the backfield. Now a shot across the middle and a beautiful grab there by Dallas Harper. Harper going to backtrack a little bit and then just decides, yeah, I've done enough. I got the first down. He'll take himself down at the 30-yard line. That is a hefty gain there to move the chains.
Well-designed route here as you see Plum, all their defensive backs going back. They didn't want to get burned over the top again, so you've got that underneath route that is able to get the first down for Gateway.
So Harper flashing across the middle, picks up the first down, and they'll go back to Reynolds here. Reynolds able to use his block, pushes Matthew Brooks forward, and is able to find a little crease there up to the 25-yard line. So that'll be a gain of about 5 yards there on first down. You see the Gators a little balanced here in this opening drive, keeping it on the ground early, going to the air when they need to, and finding success with both. They'll call Reynolds' number again. He's tripped up, falls forward toward that first down marker, but he'll be about 2 yards shy. He'll be marked down at the 22, so it'll be 3rd and 2.
3rd down, 2.
Now hurry to the line once again here. The Gators will blitz. Reynolds tries to fight forward, and he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And so now decision-making time on 4th down. Looks like they're going to keep the offense out on the field. Not going to bring Cole Plaskin out for a field goal attempt at the 21-yard line. That'd be about a 38-yard field goal. Now a penalty, see who jumped as the Gators rushed in for a QB sneak, and I think that threw Plum off, and I think the call might be against the Mustangs. We'll see. And it will be offsides against the Mustangs, and so the hurry up to the line there, the Gators threw off the Mustangs, and they will get the first down without having to pick up any yardage. They'll get it gifted to them.
Yeah, that was a big gift too, because if that play is actually drawn, Birch did not get the first down, so a good thing that they got the offsides call.
Gators right back to it. They'll give it to Reynolds. He has a little crease. He's able to skirt inside the 15-yard line down to about the 13. So that'll be a gain of about 4 there. I'll call it 2nd and 6 at about the 12-yard line. Take another look.
Another look. It's shotgun again, and Reynolds just to his right behind him and just hitting the holes, getting a couple yards. That's all you need when you're down deep in their territory.
Birch takes the snap, and once again, he'll give it to Reynolds. Reynolds, a nice hole there. He fights off a few would-be tacklers. He's down inside the 10, inside the 5, and that will move the chains and set up 1st and goal from inside the 3-yard line.
And this is the running that we saw last week for Franklin Regional. Now it's Gateway who's controlling the tempo.
And up-tempo is the name of the game here. They'll give it back to Reynolds, and Reynolds falls forward. Might have gained a yard there from the 3 down to the 2.
Stop by 58.
As the Mustangs did a good job containing that one and keeping Reynolds out of the end zone. Gators moving at a frantic pace here offensively.
Yeah, and Plum really needs a huge stop here just to try and keep themselves in this game. They're down a handful of touchdowns. They don't want it to be 4 touchdowns now if they give up if they give it up here.
Reynolds in the gun with Birch. They'll hand it to Reynolds once again. And he's still down inside the 1 there. He's chipping away ever so slightly. 1 yard, 1/2 yard at a time, and that'll set up 3rd and goal inside the 1 yard line.
And Reynolds just, so close after basically driving them down the field for the Gators. And you have to kind of hope if they do score, he punches it in, because he has done a lot on this drive.
Gators have taken up over 5 minutes and 15 seconds on this drive. Birch going to roll out. Not a lot of time, has to hang on to it. Got rid of it before he fell down. It's Reynolds, and he's dragged down. He'll lose a ton of yards there. Points for creativity from Birch. It's less of a loss than it would have been, as he was able to find his tailback before falling down with 2 Mustangs right in his face.
And the good news is that they do get only a minimal amount of yards lost, so a little bit better for Plaskins if he's trying to kick this one in for the Gators instead of being sacked, 10 more yards back behind the line of scrimmage.
Plaskin will attempt the field goal on the left hash. This will be a 25-yard field goal attempt. The Mustangs will stack to the left. Snap is down, and the kick is blocked, and the Mustangs put the guys in the right position there. That's the first miss on the season of any kind for Plaskin, who won the game late against North Hills with a made field goal. And that one is blocked.
Yeah, nothing Plaskin can do there, of course. Just guys getting in behind the line, taking a look here. First guy to touch that one. Not sure exactly who it was for Plum, but they had 2-3 guys back there for them as well. So good for Plum, holding Gateway off the score sheet after 2 huge plays, the almost sack and the throwing it to the running back and then the block kick. Now Plum, they need to move down the field, and they need to score here. This is a huge drive for the Mustangs just to stay in this.
And the Gators took up half of the 3rd quarter with that drive alone. So if nothing else, Gators weren't able to cash in on the scoreboard, but were able to salt away 6 minutes and 1 second of time there. They'll hand this one off. It's Nelson on the end around. He takes the jet sweep and falls forward. He'll gain about 8 there on first down.
And where has that play been for Plum in the first half? A jet sweep. Again, it's just a nice run play that spreads the field a little bit more. You're giving it to number 5, Nelson, instead of Moore. It opens up the middle a little bit more. Now Gateway can't stack the box on a jet sweep. It's plays like this that Plum needs to incorporate, try and open up their offense.
That's a good point, Spencer. The offense for Plum, very uninspiring in that first half, just dialing it up and giving it to Eric Moore time and time again. Now Franzi, the quarterback, going to take it himself. He'll gain the first down. They needed about 2. Looks like he got about 7.
It's good awareness from Franzi, looking downfield, seeing no one was there, but seeing the sticks on the left side. He had pressure on the right, so he rolls over, and he gets the first down.
So a fresh set of downs for the Mustangs here with 5:17 left in quarter number 3 at their own 35-yard line. Trick is, will they be able to move the ball quickly? Haven't done it really much in general, but even the touchdown drive they had took a long time on the ground. See if they can pass the ball here a little bit. They'll try here on first down. They'll take a shot deep. They have a man open. It's caught. And a beautiful connection there. Flips the field quickly as they're able to go over top to Jerome Brazel.
That's Brazel again. Kenny Lewis defending that one-on-one coverage. A bit perfect throw, actually, to be honest, from the quarterback, Franzi, who gets it over the shoulder, the back shoulder of Brazel. And really nothing Lewis can do other than haul him down.
And so the Mustangs go from their own 35 to the Gators 30 there. Make that a gain of 35 yards. And another fresh set of downs. They'll go to the air once again. Franzi able to find the open man. It's a moderate gain, and the receiver's able to get out of bounds. Nice hands there from the receiver, or the running back, Eric Moore, able to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, Moore, unfortunately for him, he's going to be kicking himself because he was wide open, kind of blown coverage. You see 2 players for Gateway go to 24, so Moore is open there on the sideline. Would have gotten a handful of yards, wouldn't have been a touchdown, but might have been close to that first down for Plum, but unfortunately just kind of getting that ball pulled him out of bounds.
So as it stands, 2nd and 5 upcoming for the Mustangs. Shotgun snap. They'll go to the air once again. They'll take another shot to the end zone over top of Lewis, and that one just a little overthrown. Is knifing under Lewis and creating just a little bit of separation again was Brazel.
Yeah, Brazel's running really good routes. He's got that one-on-one coverage with number 4, Kenny Lewis, and it's just that one just overthrown. But like you said, he's got that step. They like that matchup. Plum really does on the far side.
It's the third time they've gone that way. One very nearly was caught, but broken up by Lewis. Then the deep connection for 35 yards a moment ago, and that one just a little bit overthrown in the back of the end zone. Now it's 3rd and 5 for the Mustangs. They'll hand it off here, and that's Oden, Nick Oden, who hasn't touched the ball too much tonight. The talented ball carrier with 5 touchdowns on the season is able to get forward for a couple. See where they spot it officially, and take a look at the replay.
See Moore just churning forward, keeping the legs moving. But another 3rd down for Plum.
So they come up short there, and they're going to have to go for it here, down 3 scores, even though it is the 3rd quarter. We're already 2/3 of the way done with this quarter after a long Gators drive, and now we'll have a timeout. Mustangs want to think this one over, so they'll have to blow a timeout here with 3:51 in the 3rd quarter, but a very important 4th down upcoming. This is the best drive we've seen from the Mustangs since that first drive of the game, Spencer, where they went down the field methodically and ran it straight at the Gators for a 2-yard touchdown from Moore.
Yeah, the difference I think right now between that first drive is they're really opening up the playbook a little bit more. Plum is, they're getting jet sweeps, they're getting one-on-one coverage on go routes on the far side, they have the underneath route, it's stuff like that. Moore is still getting into the game as well, so instead of just Moore running down the field, you're opening up the offense a little bit, you're keeping Gateway playing a bit safer, I'd say, on defense. Gateway is they don't want to give up a huge ball early on in the drive and a quick score for Plum. They would rather them keep the clock moving, and if they do score, it's based on keeping the clock moving. But Plum's still moving the ball pretty well, which is good to see for them in this second half.
Looking at some of the out-of-town scores, Upper St. Clair drove the length of the field to start the second half. They're up 10-3 over Peters Township in a matchup of 2 unbeaten, unblemished teams in 5A. As we said at the half, it was Penn Trafford 17, Hempfield 14, and a game that holds a lot of weight within the Big East Conference. Woodland Hills on top of Norwin 12-0 at the half, and still no updates from Franklin Regional taking on Shaler. Handoff here is Moore. He's able to knife through, find some running room, a good cut. That'll take him inside the 20, down towards the 15-yard line. I think he'll be just a little shy at the 16, but it is enough for a 1st down on 4th down. Good play call there by the Mustangs.
A nice job for Moore finding the open hole. As you see on your screen here, it's going to be number 4, Caden Thomas, pulling from right to left, gets just that block where Moore can get around him and get the extra yardage for the 1st down.
The ball at the 16. They're going to take a shot toward the back of the end zone, looking for Nelson, who's open, and he can't come down with it, but they're going to throw a flag late on Dallas Harper. And so that's going to be pass interference on the defense. A little bit of a push there at the end from Harper, who has been excellent this season in coverage, and I mean, a human takeaway machine. Has a ton of picks on the season, 2 pick sixes, but there gets caught getting a little handsy in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, we saw it last week where it was never really going back for the ball. I think it was for Franklin Regional. This time for Gateway, he just never looked at the ball. It was underthrown, which favors Plum in that situation because the wide receiver is going back for it, but Harper never looked for it for Gateway.
So that will be half the distance to the goal, moves the ball from the 16 to the 8-yard line, and a fresh set of downs. It'll be 1st down and goal for the Mustangs, trying to pull this back to a 2-score game. Franzi in the gun. He's going to look to air this one out, though, with the same play call, and again, just overthrown. Had a man open there. Streaking across the end zone was Caden Thomas, the 6-foot senior receiver, and he had Donovan Biggs beat on that one.
Franzi's going to be thinking about that one for a while. He had him wide open, at least 2 steps. It was a perfectly thrown ball in the sense that it was lofted right over to him, but just out of the reach. I have to wonder here, do they go with the air again, or do they try and get more here on 1st and 8? Technically call it 2nd down and 8 now for Plum.
They will hand it off here. It is Moore, full head of steam. I don't think anyone's going to catch him. He dives over into the end zone. Harper went low to try and take him out, and it's not going to be enough. Rather, that was Inez Jordan. So Eric Moore into the end zone, and Plum shows some signs of life here late in the third quarter with a lengthy drive, mixing a little bit of passing, a little bit of running.
Yeah, the heart monitor still beating for Plum. I mean, this is far from over for the Gators, who were not able to convert deep in their own zone. How important that could be in this situation, going from with a 1st and goal at the 2 to a blocked field goal, and now Plum looking for the extra point here.
That one is no good.
Yeah, not able to convert on that one. A huge miscue for Plum as well. That could be a big difference in this game if Plum does come back.
So as it stands, the Mustangs not going quietly into the night. They're able to put 6 on the board, but they'll miss the PAT. 28-13 our score here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 3:16 left in the third quarter. And the Gators will get the ball back, and as you said, Spencer, they drove the length of the field with a very balanced run-pass attack. Jaquan Reynolds very effective in the run. Brad Birch able to find Dallas Harper across the middle for a nice lengthy connection, but ultimately penalties and miscues push them back. And then the 25-yard field goal by Cole Plaskin was blocked.
Yeah, the glass half full situation there is the fact that they did kill a lot of time in that drive, and if they can do that again, even if they don't score, you bring it down about halfway to the 4th. It's going to be a lot of time might not be enough time for Plum to come back, but a score here could really help this game and really break it open. Really, I should say, seal the deal potentially for the Gators.
Now a quick pooch kick there. Got kind of an onside. I think the Mustangs might have fallen on it. Ahmad Harris had a hand on it. He wasn't able to get it, and it is recovered. So Angelo Boleno, the kicker, just kicked the top of that one. I don't think the Gators were ready for that.
No, they were not ready for that at all, and well executed by Boleno. It's just the ball, he just kind of lofts it right in there, and it goes off the hands of the Gator. I wasn't sure exactly who that was for Gateway. It was 26, Ahmad Harris. Take another look at it. You see Harris gets a hand on it, but he's kind of sliding backwards. He's not on top of it. He kind of slides with it, and that's the reason why it flops out. And Plum, look at it now. They've got the ball in Gateway territory.
At the 39-yard line. All of a sudden, a little momentum going the Mustangs' way. And they'll fumble the snap, and I believe the Gators fell on top of it. And they do. Rakari L takes the ball right back away, and my goodness, Spencer, a seesaw here of momentum as the Gators gave Plum the door, said walk on through, and Plum just walked straight into the wall there.
Yeah, someone's got to wipe off that ball, make sure it's not slippery. I mean, 2 times now we've seen the ball come out of the hands of players, and a big break for Gateway there after the miscue on special teams, which I know we talked about the offense really working, the defense doing well. Even last week, unfortunately, the special teams had some issues. Here it is again after they lose the onside kick, but they are bailed out by a bad snap in the defense.
So Rakari L able to jump on top of that one. And the Gators with good field position now, starting at their own 42. Birch going to try and take a shot deep, looking for Inez Jordan, and that one almost intercepted. Good coverage there, step for step. So it's number 5, Darian Nelson.
That's good coverage from Nelson, and that ball has to be on the back shoulder for number 7 for Gateway. Inez Jordan, you see this throw from Birch. Not a bad throw, exactly where he wanted that one, but well played on the defense.
Another update from out of town. Don't look now, but Hempfield scores to go ahead of Penn Trafford, 21-17 with 20 seconds left in the third quarter in the 5A Big East Conference opener for those two teams. Now they'll go with Jaquan Reynolds. Reynolds, a nice second effort there, able to get forward for about 4. He'll set up what will be about 3rd and 6.
And 4, Thomas.
So we are firmly into conference football here, edging towards October. The wind's a little chillier here in the second half, and gotta love it. Another run here, and Reynolds Going to get a few, but he'll get stacked up after a gain of what looks to be about 3 or 4 yards. So it'll be 4th and 2 around midfield, and now decision-making time for Don Hall and the Gators.
It's going to be a big decision for Gateway, who looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. Will we see the pooch punt, or will we see them go for it, or try and drive Plum off sides?
They went quick, and oh my goodness! Wow, Caden Thomas. That is a bad man right there. He gets in the backfield and blows that play up before it even got rolling.
Thomas has been in the backfield a couple times. Top of the screen there on the line. He gets right there. Well played by Thomas, and turnover on down. So only killed about a minute, 2 minutes really between the turnovers. Plum kind of sitting almost where the same spot they were at before.
Can the Mustangs execute? They'll get the ball back about a minute after they coughed it up, about 10, 15 yards back, about 10 yards back from where they had it, or about the 39 when they coughed it up. So they're able to hold. They got the turnover on downs, and they'll go back to work, see if they keep it on the ground or go to the air. They'll go with a deep pass here to Nelson. Nelson comes back to it and makes a beautiful grab. Absorbed the contact from Harper and just got his head around, and Spencer was more aggressive.
And it's more aggressive from Plum. They're throwing these deep balls. They are making Gateway play defense on them, one-on-one matchups, and Plum is just on top right now in terms of the matchups.
They certainly have, which has kind of opened up the delayed run game and some of the jet sweep action, and so Plum sort of went into kind of turtled with the offensive play calling, and now they do go with the run. And that one's going to get shut down. A very nice play there by Donovan Biggs, coming up from the defensive back position and taking out the ankles of Moore. But you know, Spencer, you said it well. We talked about it earlier in the game. If Plum was going to get back into this, they'd have to be able to get balance on offense to be unpredictable.
And I'll give a little bit more credit to the offensive line for Plum, who is giving their quarterback, Franzi, a little bit more support, a little bit more time to throw those down there, to air it out, and to try and make plays downfield. So good stop, though, for Gateway on that run.
Under 1 minute to play here left in the third quarter. High snap, good time, but now swallowed in a hurry. Quarterback needed to get rid of that one. Matthew Brooks made them pay, and now get pushed back all the way to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, pocket was collapsing pretty quickly there, as you see. Guy get around the offensive lineman. The running back only can block one guy instead of two, and just tough play for Plum there. Backtracking a little bit, last 30 seconds of this third quarter.
So we'll get one more play here, as there's about a 7-second difference from play clock to game clock. 23 seconds left. They'll get the play in from the sidelines. It's 3rd and 22. They'll get this one off right before the play clock expires. They'll set up the screen, and it's Moore. Moore with a lot of room. He's able to knife forward. One man to beat. He's into the end zone. No flags down on the field, and so that will be a 30-yard touchdown pass from Franzi to Moore, and Moore finds the end zone for the 3rd time tonight, and don't look now, but the Plum Mustangs are roaring back here. It's a 9-point game now.
Yeah, running back screen for Moore, and good blocking downfield, a couple guys, but it's really the speed of Moore, able to get by a couple players for Gateway. Downfield blocking was there for Plum, and like you had just said, I said it before, the heart monitor is still beating for the Mustangs. We've got a ball game going into the 4th quarter.
PAT this time is up and good. So it is a one-score game, 28-20, as it has been all Mustangs here in this third quarter. And what a way to end this third quarter, as we have a lot more uncertainty. I mean, it was 28 consecutive points by the Gators late in the first quarter, into the second quarter. It was the 3 touchdown passes from Birch, and ever since that interception late in the half, this game has taken a little bit of a turn. It feels like the Mustangs have kind of gotten their feet back under them, and the confidence is back.
Yeah, they're in a rhythm right now on offense, especially for Plum, and they are a lot more comfortable now than what we saw in the first half, and especially the second quarter, where it was just a couple runs from Moore, but really no passing because there was pressure in the backfield from Gateway all throughout that second quarter. This time, quarterback, Franzi, has a little bit more room to work with and a little bit more time, so he's able to air it out. And they like those one-on-one matchups, again, on the posts and on the out routes. Plum is just, I mean, they're playing the better team right now. They're the better team right now as they try another onside kick.
And they might have gotten it again, and they did.
Oh my goodness.
What is happening?
And it's the kicker. It's the kicker, just a little squib kick. He just kind of hits it off the side of his foot. I didn't know if it went far enough, but it did. Perfectly played. You would never think they would do it twice in a row, would you?
That's what they call the old Norm Johnson kick. You just sort of run up and top it. You get guys on the sides to go and just smack whoever's there in front, and the kicker just runs up and falls on it.
It was amazing. He didn't even need the players to help. He didn't even need any help. Gateway was just already backtracking. It was 89. Angelo Boleno, I mean, taking a look at this. This is an amazing onside kick for Plum.
So the Mustangs will start this fourth quarter with the ball at the Gators' 45-yard line. And now it is soul-searching time for the Gators, because we talked about this in pregame, Spencer. The top two teams from each conference make the playoffs. From there, 2 wild cards will get selected by the WPIAL's selection committee. And so last year, the teams that finished first and second in each conference were either 5-0, 4-1. Plum comes in at 1-0, Gateway 0-1. Gators drop a second conference game. All of a sudden, you're just hoping to be in the conversation for a wild card, and you haven't even played Hempfield, Penn Trafford, or Norwin yet. And those first 2 of those 3 teams are going to be tough matchups. So if you're the Gators, there is no margin for error. First down and 10 at the 45. The Mustangs with all the momentum, but moving a little too early there. That one will be Darian Nelson, who's been excellent tonight, but he shoots himself and his teammates right in the foot. They'll get backed up to midfield, call it 1st and 15. So really, you can't underscore the importance of this game enough. And if you're Plum, an upstart Plum team that not a lot of people are counting to be in the conversation here, all of a sudden you're 2-0. And you've taken down one of the heavyweights in Big East play. But the Gators still clinging to that 8-point lead, but they are on their heels. Now another fumble on first down. Plum almost, after getting the onside kick, gives it right back. But luckily, Franzi's able to dive on that one. It'll be a loss of about 2.
Yeah, just miscues, and you talked about it before. Shooting themselves in the foot, Plum is now you went from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 17 on 1 play and 1 penalty. Back in your own territory now as well. I don't want to disrespect 89, Angelo Boleno, but if you don't get the first down here, almost all for nothing.
They'll hand this one off to Moore. Moore trying to get outside, and again, a great play by Donovan Biggs coming up from the defensive backfield, lowering the shoulder and dropping the ball carrier for a very moderate gain.
Yeah, Biggs is just going right for the legs there. He's not letting Moore cut in. Every time Moore cuts the outs or gets to the outside, he tries to cut back in on that first defender, and Biggs is right there, not letting him do that.
Head coach and former Gateway assistant Matt Morgan trying to upset the Gators for a 2nd consecutive week here, this time at Anti-Marino Stadium. Gators fell on the road last week. Now trying to defend their home turf. Again, they'll go up top, but 2 Gators there in double coverage, and that one is intercepted. Inez Jordan knew it was coming his way, and what a ball hawk. He just made sure that he went up, he high pointed that, and he made for sure he was the one coming down with that ball.
Yeah, not a good throw from Franzi there, and you can do those, you can loft those up there on one-on-one coverage, but unfortunately for them, it's not one-on-one. You see over-the-top help as well for Gateway, and you got to get that ball on the opposite shoulder. You saw the wide receiver, Brazel, just trying to play defense there on an offensive throw, but unfortunately, Plum just giving it right back. The good news is it's arguably an arm punt. Plum is, your Gateway is sitting right at the 25-yard line right now, which is the only glass half full situation for Plum.
They'll get it into Inez Jordan's hands, but nothing going there. He's dragged down well behind the line of scrimmage. And that's going to result in a decent loss there. Gators back to the drawing board on what will be 2nd and 15.
Yeah, that play just looked broken from the start. You see Birch kind of confused. His eyes were wide open after that, wondering what went wrong there. Saw Jordan try and cut out wide, but getting around his own player and a defender, so he has to go around them instead of just cutting up field and getting the yardage, and he pays the price for it.
Gators back to the line. Got a man open across the middle. That's Harper. Harper able to get first down yardage. Don't go back too far. Almost dipped back behind the sticks trying to gain extra yardage, but he'll smartly dive, wisely dive towards the 40-yard line down at the 39. That'll be a first down. And Spencer, I know you weren't with us for the first game of the season, but what really stood out to me about the Gators was when they played Mount Lebanon, they were up 14-0. Finally, Mount Lebanon broke through. They scored, made it 14-6, and you felt this sort of energy you feel here now where it's a one-score game. Gateway had been the better team for the majority of the game, and then the Gators put together a drive, went down the field methodically, short passing game, put it away. We'll see if they can do that here. They're going to give it to Reynolds. He'll gain about 4 there on the carry, and certainly the Gators put together a drive at the beginning of this half that ate up a lot of clock and got them in a goal-to-go situation, but you got to be able to punctuate, Spencer. If you're a championship team, I mean, you've got to be able to put the ball in the end zone whenever situations like this arise, right?
Yeah, bringing the ball down the field doesn't do anything if you don't score, especially in a one-possession game right now where Plum could easily just have that ball down the field, one-on-one coverage, break 3, get by a defender, and then you're gone for a touchdown. So Gateway needs to score here to make a statement.
Birch rolling out. Not a lot happening there. He's going to get swallowed up and sacked. Whole gang of Mustangs in. Nick Sheffo was the first there. Michael Barr as well. Number 36, Nick Odom, who comes up holding his wrist. He's going to have to check off as you take a look here. Good pressure by Darian Slaughter to start. And then from there, just no escape for Brad Birch.
And you see everybody for Plum immediately come up when they see Birch start scrambling for his life as we got a player down.
That is Odom.
Yeah, that's a big hurt. Well, normally a big hurt. We haven't heard much of him on offense. I mean, defensively, he's done pretty decent as a linebacker, but backup running back for Plum down and slow to get up. The clock is stopped at 8:21 for Gateway and Plum.
So they tend to Odom. We remind you the out-of-town scoreboard. Peters Township trailing Upper St. Clair 10-3 in a matchup of unbeaten teams in 5A. Woodland Hills all over Norwin as the Knights look like they'll drop to 1-4 before they begin the gauntlet of Big East Conference action. As you take a look there at the Allegheny 6 Conference. One of those two teams at the top is going to move to 2-0. Bethel Park hasn't played yet in conference, but they look very strong. Moon rebuilding after a runner-up season that saw them lose at Hinesfield to Penn Trafford. Baldwin coming down from 6A to 5A. They've had their struggles this year in South Fayette. A program that has been traditionally great for a long time, but hasn't found its footing just yet in 5A. And then over on the Northeast Conference side, Penn Hills, definitely a team living up to the hype this season. They took down Pine Richland just the other day. Woodland Hills at 1-0, playing up from 3A. And then Shaler got off to a hot start, but they've run into Hempfield and a few other hurdles to drop them to 2-2.
They ran into Plum, the Mustangs. They fell.
They did. Now the Plum defense looking a little bit confused. They're going to blitz here. Birch has some time, but he's hit and almost loses the ball. Oh my goodness, coming around there, Reynolds unable to take care of Caden Thomas, who lays the boom on Birch, and Birch is really lucky to have held on to that one. And you look, he is not happy after getting hit from behind. That'll bring up 4th down. And once again, the Plum Mustangs with a big stop here in the second half and a chance to get the ball back and tie this up.
And look at the difference between the second quarter and this fourth quarter here. The second quarter, it was Plum and the quarterback Franzi running for his life. This quarter right now, it's been Birch who has ran for his life several times in the backfield. The defenses have completely changed positions and completely changed roles for both of these sides.
Punt is away. That one will take a very favorable bounce for the Gators. Not a terribly far punt, as that one sort of just jumped and then nose-dived and then took a very fortunate roll. And so Mustangs, not great, not terrible field position. They're going to have to go about 75 yards here to tie this one up. And Spencer, you go from, you talked about second quarter to second half here. You go from what we were looking at, might have been a get-right game.
Yeah.
Get the confidence, lay the boom on someone, think, okay, we're 1-1 in conference play. Let's get after this. Let's right the ship. To now, things looking a little precarious. And even if the Gators hold on here, you still got to do some soul searching. Still a little frustrated with the results here.
Yeah, they were on top of the hill, but they put the car in neutral, and they're starting to roll down the hill, although Plum losing this one.
Yeah, 3 straight fumbles, and Moore loses his footing, and they're back all the way to the 10-yard line, a loss of 15 on first down. And Spencer, in the last 3 drives for the Mustangs, after they scored that touchdown, they have gone backwards, and they fumbled all 3 first down snaps, resulting in losses of 2, 7, and now 15.
Yeah, they need to break their sponsorship with Butterfinger. I mean, this is just a bad situation right now for Plum. They really need to just hold on to this ball, but we have the ball going back to the line of scrimmage.
We might have missed a quick call there from the official. I didn't see any laundry on the field, but a huge break for the Mustangs, as they're going to call that an incomplete pass. I don't know about that one. I really don't know, but that's a big break for the Mustangs. Goes from 2nd and 25 to 2nd and 10, but they'll go backwards once again, as Odom actually is able to get back close to the line of scrimmage. I thought for sure that Louis Douglas was going to be able to finish that shoestring tackle off, but a good job by Odom keeping his balance and getting back to the line of scrimmage. But as it stands, Spencer, again, Plum got to get points on the board. They've really salted away a couple plays and some time here. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, play I think they'd like to go back to, at least they should go back to, is that slant route. Even though they didn't have the timing right, it worked really well on the first drive of the evening for the Mustangs, and I think they really could go back to that here on this 3rd down and 10.
They'll drop back to pass. Franzi now going to take it himself, has some room. Malachi Moore chasing him from behind. Franzi still on his feet, breaks a couple tackles, and Dallas Harper gets to him at the 40-yard line, but not before Franzi makes 3 Gators miss and gets the first down.
Why are you going for the ball? Go for the guy. Watch this again. You see Franzi breaking away off of the tackle, scrambling for it, and then right here, it's going to be number 3, Malachi Moore. You see him swiping for the ball. You got to go for the tackle.
It's almost like he didn't really make any effort to wrap him up.
No, it's looking like he wanted the fumble. He wanted the big play, but it's 3rd down. He's only at the line of scrimmage.
So that'll give Plum new life, and they'll get it into Moore's hands. He's able to get the edge here and gain nice chunk of yardage on first down. Call it about 6 yards. Plum up over the 45-yard line to the 47. And that'll make it 2nd and 4 for the Mustangs.
2nd down.
Also worth noting, Hempfield has scored again to make it 28-17. And Spencer, I feel like contests like this are going to continue to happen this season. The Big East is wide open. I don't know that Norwin's going to challenge for the title, but all bets are off otherwise. And here's that end around that worked so well the last time. They'll get another good chunk of yardage here as Nelson up over the 50, the 45, and down to about the 40-yard line. They needed 4. They got about 14 on that play. And the Mustangs are threatening once again.
That jet sweep, that little shovel pass that works again for the Mustangs. They're moving the ball. They're moving the ball down the field. And 4.5 minutes remaining here in this one. Hold on to your belts. Fasten your seat belts. Make sure you got everything tied down because it's gonna be a wild one.
Ball at the 40. 1st and 10. They'll fake the end around. They'll give it to Moore. Moore with a big hole. He's able to get toward the sidelines. He's down inside the 20. Here come the Mustangs. A stampede here at Anti-Marino Stadium, and the Gators on their heels here, trying to hang on to this lead. 4 minutes left.
Does this drive look familiar? The first drive of the game for Plum. They have not really thrown this ball at all, the Mustangs, but they have moved down the field through the running game.
In the red zone, ball at the 18-yard line. They will go to the air here. Franzi going to put this one up to the back of the end zone. He has a man. It's Nelson, and he drops it in and out of the hands, and Nelson can't believe it. That was a surefire touchdown that Nelson just let go through his hands. And the Gators catch an unbelievably big break as Franzi tries to lift up his teammate, although in the back of his mind, he's got to be frustrated.
Yeah, he threw that one perfectly to his teammate. It's the back or the right shoulder away from the defender and just not able to haul that one in. And Plum doesn't win this one. That's going to be the ones you're going to look back and think about going on for the team bus.
Look at that. They had a missed connection, even though Moore ended up scoring a couple drives ago. They've missed on some of these open shots, and now Nick Odom going to get dragged down in the backfield. Ahmad Harris able to knife in and take down the ball carrier. So that's going to create a 3rd and long situation. So the Gators putting up a valiant effort here, trying to drive the Mustangs back in what is certainly 4-down territory with 3.5 minutes left. Play clock at 15. The Mustangs have to be aware of the clock here. Franzi going to take a shot, has a man open, and that one's caught. And that's going to be really close to a first down. Do they get it? It's all going to depend on the spot.
I think he's going to be about a yard. No, they're going to move I think he might be about a yard short. It's going to be close.
They're going to give them the first down. Chain Gang has stepped off the field. The only man there on the top right of your screen that matters is the one holding the down indicator there. It's a fresh set of downs with 2:55. Goal to go situation for the Mustangs.
Another long 3rd down that the Mustangs convert on.
Moore with a full head of steam, knifing inside the 5, and he's down to the 1. Dove for pay dirt and came up just a bit short, but a nice gain there. And boy, oh boy, what a finish we have here, folks. Moore, you see, taking that one to the outside, split a couple defenders, and now it's time to really dig in here. 2nd and goal from the 1, the jumbo package, the power eye. They'll hand it to the fullback. No signal yet. It's a touchdown. And I believe that is Odom finding the back of the end zone. Nick Odom, haven't heard his name much tonight, but he comes up with the big score there. And now, Spencer, the all-important 2-point conversion.
How important was that missed PAT for the Mustangs? 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining, 20 unanswered points for Plum. Has been an absolute roller coaster this game. As they had a timeout taken.
Mustangs want to make sure they get the right play call here. Both teams with 2 timeouts left. It's 26-20. Well, they haven't updated the scoreboard just yet, but it is a touchdown. So 26-20. The Gators going to have to dig in here. Silver lining is if you're able to stop this 2-point play, you get the chance to get the ball back. Although, granted, Spencer, I'd hope at this point the Gators understand that there'd probably be an onside kick coming.
you have to think, yeah, if they don't convert,
even if they do,
you could argue that. I mean, you've seen some gutsy calls on the special teams. I wouldn't blame them if they went for the onside kick. I know it would be crazy, but sometimes you got to be crazy to beat teams like Gateway if you're Plum.
This has been an excellent game tonight. Looked like it was going to be a laugher going into halftime. But the Mustangs have pulled back in. Now the two-point play. No one open, gonna have to throw it quickly, and that's intercepted. Dallas Harper with the takeaway.
And the score remains Gateway 28.
So they finally update the scoreboard, but the 2-point no good. And that's at least a tiny sigh of relief for those that are Gators faithful.
I will say this, though, 2 timeouts. This is far from over, and Gateway has not been able to move the ball in these past couple drives.
Gators will have to pick up a first down, maybe even 2, to really salt this one away. But first, they're going to have to recover what we assume will be an onside kick attempt by the Mustangs.
I mean, all signs point toward it. Gateway hasn't moved the ball down the field very well the past couple drives. Obviously, Plum needs the ball back. You could try and pin them back in their own zone, but you've been 2 for 2 on onside kicks. Might as well go for the trifecta.
So the hands team comes out. Chris Livesey and Inez Jordan will stand further back from everyone else, but the Gators set up anticipating an onside kick attempt. See if there's any more magic in the boot of Angelo Boleno, who, as you said, is 2 for 2 and has recovered the onside kicks. And now we wait.
Here comes the kickoff.
Got a different kicker.
19 unanswered points here.
It's Olivia Bigger who's out there kicking for Plum. The freshman. Timeout taken by Gateway.
Gators want to talk this one over after seeing a different kicker come out.
Interesting call. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I assume maybe Bigger is more inclined to the role of onside kicks compared to 89 for Plum. Boleno, who was lining up for regular kickoffs. But surprised they haven't gone back to Boleno, who did a good job on his 2 onside kicks.
So the Gators down to just 1 timeout now. They'll get a chance to talk this one over. The Gators won't have an easier road ahead. They're going to have to go to Hempfield next week, who leads Penn Trafford 28-17 and is on the verge of going to 5-0, including 1-0 in Big East play, and handing Penn Trafford an opening loss. And boy, wouldn't it be something if we got to the end of the season and Penn Trafford and Gateway were on the outside looking in the Big East. It's very early in the season, but both of these teams are getting everything they could handle and then some by teams that weren't even in 5A last season. Hempfield down from 6A, Plum up from 4A, and then the Mustangs will have an interesting matchup next week regardless of how this goes, taking on Franklin Regional, who upset the Gators last week. Here's the onside kick. They're just going to send this one deep, and Livesey able to get to that one. So an interesting take there. They I think maybe wanted to lull the Gators into sleep by putting it sort of in no man's land into an awkward place.
Yeah.
But Livesey up to the task, very smartly comes up, dives on the ball.
Yeah, it's a decent kick from Bigger. I think what she was looking for was that situation. I think you want to have that probably around the 30, 35-yard line just to be able to get Plum a couple guys down there. It's just a half a second too late and a couple yards too far on the onside, or the potential onside kick for Plum.
So now the game in the Gators' hands, and Brad Birch, they'll hand it to Reynolds. Reynolds able to make the first would-be tackler miss. Got past Jack Tongle, is able to get up towards the 37-yard line. So a nice gain of 8 there on first down. It's exactly what you want if you're the Gators. Put yourself in second and manageable.
And he stays in bounds, keeps the clock running for Reynolds and the Gators. That's a really good run to start this drive.
2nd and 2 upcoming for the Gators. Game has just gone final. Woodland Hills shuts out Norwin. Norwin's going to fall to 1-4, all out of conference. Here, both of these teams trying to take one step further in conference toward the playoffs. Good snap, They'll get it to Reynolds. Reynolds able to make the first would-be tackler miss, but a group of about 4 different Mustangs led by Jack Tongle, who missed on the last tackle but made this one. It'll be 3rd and 2, and this crowd, you can just feel the anxiety below us here as Plum will call a timeout with 1:15 left.
This was not what we were expecting. This is not what we were expecting at halftime, too, even coming into this game and at halftime. Give the Mustangs a ton of credit. A lot of teams would just kneel over and die after halftime. You know, a couple run plays, maybe some passes that really just don't work out, give up a touchdown, you're out of it. But Gateway drove all the way down the field. Plum held them out of the end zone, held them scoreless, and they have scored since. The Mustangs, a lot of credit. This team is resilient so far, regardless of a victory, I think, for the Mustangs. The fact that they were able to hang around, be resilient against this Gateway team, they can put up fights against Penn Trafford. They can put up fights against Connellsville if you keep playing like this in this second half for the Mustangs.
Yeah, certainly starting to think that every single game in this conference is going to be a real dogfight. Fun fact, we just found out from our fearless leader, Adam Gusky, that Olivia Bigger's mom is actually a Gateway grad. So a little connection there, as we so often see with these teams that are so close together. Third down play is blown up in the backfield, and all of a sudden, it's 4th down. Plum going to take their last time out. And unless the Gators get real ambitious here offensively, the Mustangs are going to get the ball back with a chance to get into field goal range for a go-ahead attempt or push it down the field to try and score the winning touchdown.
I don't want to give my terrible Scooby-Doo impression, but Rutrow Raggy, I mean, this is not good for Gateway. You needed that first down to seal this deal potentially, and right now, Plum has the momentum. They have a 4th and 7. You expect Gateway to punt this one away. A big break, a big turner, a big return could be a huge momentum swing, could be huge for the Mustangs as well. So this is a really, really big play for the special teams that has struggled, to say the least, in this game.
So the punt unit on. Cole Plaskin will put boot to ball and try and flip the field here for the Gators. Also worth mentioning, the game has gone final. The Hempfield Spartans take down the Penn Trafford Warriors 28-17 on the road. Snaps a little low. Nice punt there. This one going to take a favorable bounce. It'll be corralled by Moore. Moore loses the ball. It's loose. Who got to it? I believe the Mustangs got it. They did. Oh, my goodness. Vincent Fabraro able to dive on that one after Moore, of all people, coughs it up. Take another look.
Man, Plum is struggling to hold on to the ball this evening. You see Moore gets around 2 guys, but he loses it right there. He loses a little bit of it, and then 26.
Ahmad Harris
For the Gators is the one who's able to knock it out completely, but lucky they were able to recover that one, Plum was.
Harris has been laying the boom all night, bringing the lumber, as they say. Got that dog in him. And now the climatic finish. 59 seconds. Ball at the 34. Frozzi gonna roll out, and it's intercepted! Dallas Harper surrenders himself at the 40-yard line, and that is your ball game. So it went from climactic to anticlimactic very quickly. And who else but Dallas Harper, the human turnover machine on defense, wins the game for the Gateway Gators.
Harper read that one like a Dr. Seuss book, way too easy. He was about 5 yards behind that, even before the quarterback, Franzi, was looking over there. He knew that ball was going to go right there. Steps in front of it, intercepts it, and what a way to seal this one for the Gators.
Gators fans, with me now. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Gators, as long as they can hold on to the ball here and take a knee, will be set to move to 4-1. And more importantly, 1-1 in Big East play. On the other side, the Mustangs, a couple players, number 3s collectively, Malachi Moore and Jack Tongle getting into it a little bit here. Frustrations boiling over for the Mustangs, who scored 19 second-half points, only to come up what appears to be just a little bit short tonight in what became a barn burner after a laugher of a first half. But Plum will fall to 3-2, 1-1 in Big East play. And we'll see the last 17 seconds tick away here, but the Gators survive and advance. And Spencer, you know what they say, it doesn't have to be pretty, but a win is a win is a win.
That's exactly what Gateway is going to look at going into film tomorrow. The fact that they did get the victory is impressive. They did step up when they needed it. The interception with Dallas Harper was huge for them, but the difference right now between this Gateway team and the Plum Mustangs was that Plum was just resilient. Gateway really just took the foot off the gas. Give the Mustangs a lot of credit, but Gateway did hold strong at the end.
That they did. Dallas Harper intercepts the two-point conversion. He intercepts the last attempt by Franzi to win the game. Surrenders himself. I mean, Dallas Harper on the defensive side of the ball, it's not an exaggeration to say he might be one of the most dangerous playmakers in the WPIAL.
Yeah, he has been a force there and really knew that play the whole way. It was an amazing interception. He stopped Franzi and the Mustangs, who had a lot of momentum. They had everything going for them in that last drive, but was just stopped on the first play.
Worth noting, Harper with 2 offensive scores tonight was a little more involved on the offensive side of the ball. Certainly has filled in where Patrick Body, who went to Cincinnati, left off. And I mean, on both sides of the ball, we saw some real flashes tonight, but still, you know, what's it going to take for the Gators to put together that complete 48-minute performance?
It's tough because you thought it was going to be like that in the first half for Gateway. They were doing everything right, but just things were just, it's like they took their foot off the gas in that second half. I don't know exactly what to say. Special teams definitely needs to be fixed. That's one huge thing. You know, giving Plum the opportunities on the onside kicks to just be in that game is a difference as well. But again, offensively, I think things clicked for the Gators, but they kind of just got back to basics, back to last week almost. Kind of simple runs, simple plays that really weren't working out. They were more optimistic, more advanced in their plays in the first half, and that was the difference.
So we'll take a quick run through the scoring before we bid adieu for this evening. Scoring got started with Eric Moore scoring from 2 yards out. PAT was up and good, 7-0 Plum. From there on out, it was all Gators for the remainder of the second half. Brad Birch with 3 passing touchdowns. Hits Inez Jordan for 45. Hits Dallas Harper for 75. Hits Leonard Sherrod for 75. Very, very neat there with all the 5s along the way. PAT's all good from Plaskin, 21-7 going into the half, or 28-7 going into the half, and from there it was all Plum in the second half. Really a tale of 2 halves, and Plum just came up that much shorter. The missed PAT certainly
that was the difference.
Has to be the difference. Forced that 2-point conversion, but Moore with an 8-yard touchdown run. Franzi connects with Moore on a 30-yard touchdown pass, and then Nick Odom able to take it in from 1 yard out. And the special teams, not enough tonight for the Plum Mustangs. Any parting thoughts, Spencer, as we wrap things up here tonight from Mantua-Marino Stadium?
Well, I think coming into this one, we're not thinking the same thing that we thought for next week. Hempfield is going to be a tough team next week for the Gateway Gators. I believe they play them next week, correct?
They
is
do.
That correct?
On
That's
the
going to be
road.
a big game. They beat Penn Trafford, and a team that you expected them to beat Plum pretty easily, and thinking, okay, now they get a team that Hempfield, might not be as experienced. Same situation. Plum didn't have the wins that everybody expected, but they fought hard, and now they're going to face a Hempfield team that fought hard and didn't have the wins that everybody expected. So Gateway really needs to step up next game as well.
It's going to be can't miss, must watch WPIAL Big East Conference action here in 5A, and we'll have it here for you on the Gateway Gators Football Broadcast Network. For Spencer Witt and our entire production crew led by Lee Schaefer, I'm Vince Russo. Your final score once again here, 28-26, Gateway over the Plum Mustangs. They'll head out east even further to take on the Hempfield Spartans next week, but until then, we bid adieu here on NFHS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Good night, everyone.